is a live presentation of CBC Sports.
The CFL on CBC. Today, East meets West with the Argos holding the balance of power. A superpower summit minus the diplomacy. The Argo arsenal at the disposal of Doug Flutie. He's the CFL's leading field general. Rookie Daryl Mitchell is stealthy, evading defensive back detection. Adrian Smith commands the Star Wars defense with plenty of high-altitude interceptions. In the West, Damon Allen has stepped up the arms race. Locked on target, the highest pass efficiency in the league. Action Jackson, BC's deep threat behind enemy lines. BJ Gallus stands on guard in BC's trenches. The battle lines are drawn. Duck and cover. The Sky Dome in Toronto on a gorgeous October afternoon, the scene of an Argo record 14-game home winning streak that dates back to last season. Today, that all goes on the line against the BC Lions. Good afternoon and welcome to the CFL on CBC. I'm Mark Lee. Well, if it's wide open football you're looking for, you've come to the right place. Today, it's the top two quarterbacks in the CFL going throw to throw. Doug Flutie versus Damon Allen. Flutie leading the CFL in touchdown passes with 35, almost double Damon Allen. But listen to this stat. Damon Allen, #1 rated passer in the league now at 99% efficiency. Doug Flutie second to him at 97.7. So Damon Allen, feared for his running game now, highly respected for that passing arm this season. Joining me on this broadcast today, Big Chris Walby. Chris, the Argos have averaged 40 points a game during their 7-game winning streak this year. Nobody seems to be able to stop them. I'm wondering if you've got any ideas.
The only way to stop him is to stop Doug. You got to fluster Flutie, and by that you got to get him, put pressure on him, and put him on his back. One of the guys responsible for that will be David Benefield. 1995, he led BC with 12 quarterback sacks. That'll be his job today to get to Flutie, but he's got to go against the big monster, Willie Williams, considered the best left tackle in the league.
He brings the load. You've been up most of the night working on game keys, and what have you come up with?
Well, I think for BC to win, they must get Sean Millington involved early and often. And on defense, they must confuse Flutie, mix their defensive coverages and their fronts. For Toronto, stretch BC's defense. They got Jack Jackson in there, put receivers all over the field, and keep Damon Allen in the pocket on defense, because the last time Toronto lost, Damon Allen rushed for over 100 yards.
All right, here's another factor. Robert Drummond, the Argos touchdown king, is out with a knee injury. How might that affect the Argo offense today? For more on that, let's welcome Steve Armitage.
Thank you, Mark. Hi, everyone. It was earlier this week that Drummond underwent surgery that left a huge hole in the Argos offensive lineup, almost as big as his stats. He was on the fast track to a CFL double, 1,000 yards rushing and passing. He'll be missed by his Argo teammates in more ways than one.
We would all like to see Robert break the touchdown tomorrow.
We'll have more on Robert Drummond and the big hole that he has left in the Argos lineup later in the game. As Drummond sits on the bench, you get the impression, talking to him, that he'd sooner play today if he could, but Don Matthews says no. Something that Matthews has no control over is the weather. It's so nice here in Toronto. They have opened the Sky Dome roof. Matthews would like it closed because he likes a controlled environment. In the booth, let's join Mark Lee and Chris Walby. Guys?
All right, Steve, there's Adam Rita, the Lions head coach 1 year ago. Chris, he was the offensive coordinator on this Argo team with Don Matthews, so he knows a few tricks up the sleeve of this man who's on a 7-game winning streak and very soon approaching Frank Clair's all-time career winning record of 147 wins in a season. The Argos won the coin toss and have elected to kick off here today. The Lions sending Larry Thompson and Corey Philpott back. And it's Rashid Gale dropping the opening kickoff, gets it back and falls just across the 25-yard line. A 61-yard kickoff and only a 12-yard fumbled return by Gale. Damon Allen having a career year as far as a passing quarterback goes. Look at those numbers, 3,895 yards. Look at the stat, though, on interceptions, Chris. Only 6
That's the best he's ever had. He's having a career year. They're talking about the success he's doing. He's making the right decisions at the right time.
1st and 10 Lions at their own 26-yard line as Damon Allen goes to work behind the center. And he'll give to big Sean Millington, who's stacked up for maybe a couple of yards off the right side.
They've got a tremendous offensive line. You know, one of the things you want to do is you want to get Millington. We talked about getting him involved. The offensive line, newcomer Todd Furtick, he's been there a couple years. He's back there to anchor the left tackle spot. The backs and receivers, Nick Mazzoli just joins the club as a 3rd game back. He's going to give him a little bit more opportunity in the slot back position.
Mazzoli coming out of retirement to rejoin Adam Rita, who coached him a few years back in Ottawa. 2nd down and 8. Damon Allen goes to the far side, and Alfred Jackson is open on the hook route and steps out of bounds with a 1st down. 15-yard gain for Action Jackson.
Action Jackson back. A little bit of a sore knee, but he feels 100% right now. Toronto's defense, Demetrius Maxey, probably the strongest backside defensive end in the league right now. 21 tackles, 4 sacks coming in the game. Marcelo Simmons, an incredible job, a weak side linebacker. He gives Toronto's defense the opportunity to cover some of the wide slot backs in the league. And, of course, Johnny Harris, 2 interceptions last week.
Big game against the Bombers in that 41-9 win. Quick shot over the middle to Trevathan, and he's got it. Good hands as he's tackled immediately by Mike O'Shea.
And I like what Damon's doing. Give the ball to Millington. Toronto tries to come 2nd down, bring a blitz. He picks it up, throws a nice pass to Alfred Jackson. Now he just cuts a quick little hitter, slant, reads the blitz, puts it over the middle, a little quick gain. Trevathan takes it. Almost a 1st down.
2nd down and less than a yard for Damon Allen and the Lions. Damon Allen telling us this is the first time, Chris, in 13 years that he feels he's in an offense that has been designed around his abilities, much the way offenses are designed around Doug Flutie.
Very much so, and he's calling his own plays, which I really think is an important factor for any quarterback in this league to be successful.
The give is to Millington on the right side again, and he'll rumble easily into 1st down territory as he comes down right at the center field stripe. It's Waldrop and O'Shea stacking him up.
Well, that was a nice run, just a short yardage play off right side. And what I like about it is if you're going to beat Toronto, you want to beat up the defensive line of Toronto. So one of the things you do is you give Diesel the ball and let him go to it.
Sean Millington having a career year with 5 touchdowns, 755 yards along the ground, and he does double duty on special teams. You can't get him off the special teams.
You can't get him off the field is what it's about.
1st down, Lions at center field, and once again the call is to Millington, and it's rough going, Chris, on the right side.
Well, they're trying to run behind Big Mo, Elana Wannabe, and Chuck Bradley. And I tell you what, you got to keep doing that. Stay with it. If it ain't, you know, a lot of times teams will run the ball, and if they get stuffed the first time, they'll abandon that play. You got to keep going. You can see it's a nice hole right there. The guy slips off Mike Withacombe, makes the play. But you got to stay with it because eventually you will break it.
That's the 3rd time in this opening drive they've gone over Elawanibi and Chuck Bradley, former teammates in the World League at Barcelona. They play well together at that guard and tackle position. 2nd and long. Allen in the shotgun, dumps the crossing pass off to Corey Philpott, and he will be short of the 1st down. Marcelo Simmons tracks him down across the 50.
And that's one of the things we talked about, Marcelo Simmons, that he gives Toronto's defense an edge in the fact that he's a converted defensive back. He's got great speed. You can see him, he closes. And that's one thing. Don Matthews says this team has got more team speed than any team he's been associated with in the past, and that's evidence right there. He tracks down in the chase position.
The Argo DBs will play off the running backs and receivers, and as you say, track them down quickly and efficiently, as witnessed on that play. Louis Pasaglia stands at his own 47-yard line to punt for the 1st time in this one. Gets off a high, wobbly punt taken by the pinball at his own 15. Nowhere to go. Twists and turns and is run roughshod right back to his 5-yard line by Brooks Findlay. A 34-yard punt by Louis Pasaglia and no return, uncharacteristic of the pinball. No score early here in Toronto. Welcome back to the Sky Dome in Toronto. No score. Mark Lee along with Chris Walby as Doug Flutie gets set for his first series of the game at quarterback for the Argos, and he's having a fantastic season. 35 touchdown passes, 18 interceptions, and now well over the 4,000-yard mark in passing, en route to 5,000. Flutie in the shotgun, shovel pass to pinball. He's got all kinds of daylight. Turns the corner, cuts inside, and will be very close to a first down on his first carry of the game. Kelly Lockbaum putting the lock on him.
Nice play, pulling the left tackle, left guard. Old Virgil and Big Willie Williams around. Offensive line, Jeremy O'Day, the newcomer. He's in there at right tackle, replacing Chris Giaskis, who has a sprained ankle. Jack Jackson, a newcomer, just released from Chicago Bears, 2 years down there. They're excited about having him in the lineup right now.
Jack Jackson, a two-time All-American. There he is in the Argo huddle, his CFL debut. As you mentioned, Chris, a late cut of the Bears, and he said he's really glad to leave a losing organization to join a winner in Toronto. The big team is in for the Argos. Second and short, Flutie behind the center. To give up the middle is pinball straight ahead, a la Robert Drummond, and he's got the first down.
Well, all they're doing is really spreading all the receivers out to their left, leaving one guy in there, trying to pull the linebackers out.
And here's what Clemens is facing on defense, Chris Walby.
Well, Virgil Robinson, 7 sacks, leading the BC Lions in that department, and David Benefield on the defensive line, a good defensive line. Johnny Scott and Joe Fleming rounding out the inside. B.J. Gallus could be the Rookie of the Year out of the West, having an extraordinary year. I tell you what, Adam Rita loves this kid, says he's just getting better week by week.
They love his work ethic. He's always in the film room.
And Greg Frères, ex-teammate of mine from Winnipeg, traded for a box of tape, and he is happy to be playing in BC land.
Didn't Jeff Reinbold say he wouldn't trade Greg Frères for a box of tape? And look what Greg Frères has done. He's had the last word so far.
Well, I saw a box of tape arrive last year, so I'm sure the deal is now finalized.
They had a measurement, and pinball indeed was good on the first down. Flutie in the shotgun. Looks to shovel, drops it on a reverse, and that's Jack Jackson. Jack Jackson, his first play in the Argo offense, and it's good for a first down.
Well, we were just talking about this before the game. One of the new plays, new wrinkles that Toronto has, they can fake the shovel right there. Then they got Jack Jackson coming around in the reverse. And there's another option off that. He can throw the ball. So you, as BC defenders, you've got to be sure you cover all three. Unfortunately, didn't cover that one right there.
So Jack Jackson gets his feet wet in the CFL with a 17-yard gain on that option shovel. Looked a little awkward, but it worked. Flutie back to pass. Time finds the pinball wide open, and the pinball is dragged out of bounds by B.J. Gallus just inside the Argo 50. So Mike Pinball Clemens figuring prominently here in the absence of Robert Drummond. We asked Doug Flutie how it might affect the offense, not having Drummond in there and having Flutie carry his load as a running back, and he said it's going to give our offense a whole different complexion.
And let's take a look at this. This is what you call a chop block right here. You see, he goes for the inside knee, takes him down like a big redwood. That'll stop a defensive lineman in his tracks.
That's something the Argos picked up on game film from last week. That's what Hamilton was doing to BC all night, and it was effective. Here's Flutie. Ooh, a big shot. Maurice Kelly bombs Jack Jackson, but he holds on to the ball and is on first down territory.
Nice throw, nice catch. Jack Jackson coming back to the ball. But again, the offensive line of Toronto chopping the defensive line of BC right now. And after you do this a couple times, I'm going to tell you what, you're going to start playing a little bit safer, not rushing the quarterback as hard. It's a good play by offensive line of Toronto right now.
Jackson sure-handed on that play, and it's first down Toronto just over the center field stripe. Flutie bails out of the pocket now and puts his head down and takes a shot going out of bounds. Once again, it's Kelly putting a lick on Flutie, but Flutie's gain will be 11, and they'll move the yardsticks again.
Well, this is a nice play. We talked to David Benefield yesterday, and one of the things he said to me is, how do I beat Willie Williams? Well, he tries to come on him right now. You see him? He takes an inside move. He gets him beat. But one of the things against Doug Flutie is, if you don't have contain, he's going to beat you outside, and that's what he does that time. Good move by Benefield, but bad results.
There's Doug Flutie's statistics versus the Lions this year. 2 touchdowns, only 1 interception. First down, Flutie bobbles the shotgun snap. Heaves it, and it's picked off. Rashid Gale has it for the Lions. He's across the 40. Center field, and he's got a few blocks. Flag on the play as Gale is dragged down just across the Argo 40-yard line by Jeremy O'Day, the big offensive lineman showing some moxie.
Good hustle by big Jeremy O'Day, but I tell you what, there had to be some miscommunication there. First off, you've got Daryl Mitchell and newcomer Jack Jackson running side by side down the right side of your field here, and both of them looked at each other as if who was getting the ball. You should not have two receivers in the same part of the field. You want to spread it.
And so some confusion in the Argo passing offense. And Gale, the opportunist on that play with his second interception of the season.
Holding. BC number 96 declines. Illegal block. BC number 24. First down.
Well, after the play, after the penalty, they called a legal block. You can see it right here. Boy, they're working on Doug Flutie. This is something you're taught as a defense. You intercept the ball, have somebody go and punish the quarterback. Knock that quarterback. This is one time you can hit him without worrying about him letting go of the ball.
And so those two penalties on the Lions after the interception will move the ball back to the BC 20-yard line when Rasheed Gale had run the ball all the way to the Argo 40. First down, Damon Allen. Pitch pass to Action Jackson. He tries to elude Johnny Harris, but Harris puts the grip on him and tackles him for a loss.
Well, Mike Trevathan on the play is attempting to block Johnny Harris. Doesn't get enough of him. He's just trying to stay in front of him. Johnny Harris, to his credit, very elusive, runs around him and makes a nice play, limiting the gain.
Harris showing no ill effects after being banged up on the last defensive series. There you see the huge numbers for Alfred Jackson, who has been playing most of this season banged up. His knee is still not right.
And he was talking yesterday about running, and when he runs on it, it's like hitting the side of his knee with a hammer. It grinds. It's not feeling like he'd like it to feel at this time of the year.
It sounds like my washing machine. There goes big Sean Millington rumbling over the right side for 3, maybe 4, as Donald Smith brings him down out of touch.
And this is going to, after a while, it's going to start knocking you up. You talked about Johnny Harris. He's slow last series getting up. Millington is a load. He's going to start knocking people. You're knocking heads. After a while, the defensive backs are not going to want to see Sean Millington anymore.
Millington, a Canadian in that backfield who has been very productive for the Lions this year, coming into this game with 755 yards rushing. Pasaglia to punt from his own 12-yard line. It's a high spiraling kick coming down to pinball at his own 45. Makes a quick move. Jitterbug. He's across center field. Great effort, and finally hauled down by a host of Lion tacklers led by Finley Brooks. A 41-yard punt by Pasaglia and a 19-yard return by the pinball.
Still in the first quarter here at Skydome, and a scoreless tie between the BC Lions and the Toronto Argonauts. There's a man who'd like to be playing. Talked to him before the game and said that he hopes he could get back into the lineup next week. I suspect it'll be a little longer than that for Robert Drummond. Would like to have talked to him, but he's reluctant to talk to us without permission from the head coach, Don Matthews.
Amazing story. Drummond says he was jogging one day after arthroscopic surgery. High snap, gobbled up by the pinball. Pitch back to Flutie. He contemplated throwing, then will run for the first down marker and is taken out of bounds by Virgil Robertson. More razzle-dazzle.
I'll tell you what,
Argo offense.
I would hate to have to study this playbook, because on that play, the high snap pinball goes up high, gets it. You can see right here, he comes. It's a direct snap. Pinball gets it. Nice athletic. Then he does an option to Flutie, who's looking to throw downfield to Jackson. Doesn't. And good pursuit by Virgil Robinson, tackling him before he can get out of bounds.
There's the spotter's booth. Offensive coordinator. Pass deep. Jack Jackson is open. Touchdown, Toronto.
Wow.
Jack Jackson, in his first game as an Argonaut, his first game in the CFL, goes 35 yards and beats Maurice Kelly, one of the top cover men in that linebacking core for BC.
And not only beat him bad, had about 4 or 5 steps on him. Those of you who don't know, Jack Jackson went to the University of Florida, had 29 career touchdowns. It's the most ever by University of Florida Gator right now. He still holds that record, and he sure made his impact felt quickly in the first quarter.
The convert from Mike Vanderjack. The Argos are on the board first, 7-0. And this man, Jack Jackson, a late cut from the Chicago Bears, introduces himself to the CFL with a flourish.
And turn to page 35 with your touchdown.
Jack Jackson savoring his first CFL touchdown, a 35-yard pass from Doug Flutie. Just got off the headset with offensive coordinator John Jenkins up in the Argo spotting box, and he's quickly caught on to the Canadian game.
Well, they say he's a clone of Daryl Mitchell. Same height, Reed's defense is the same, and that's going to scare any defense you're going to play against.
Rashid Gale tries to turn the corner and is walloped on the play by Eric Johnson. 15-yard return of a 62-yard boot.
Let's take a look at this, and one of the things you got here is you got Kelly Lockbaum, the middle linebacker, coming in, trying to put some pressure on Doug Flutie. Doug Flutie is the best at burning, blitzing defenses, and the evidence right there hits Jack Jackson on the 35-yard touchdown. Benefield, Willie Williams, a good war. Little face masking going on there. Good work by Benefield to keep working. But Flutie gets rid of that ball so fast.
Lockbaum arriving on the scene just a moment too late as Flutie gets away the touchdown pass. It's first down BC. Their own 27. Allen, screen pass to Sean Millington, and there's very little room to run. Ken Benson and Rob Waldrop stopping him. Short gain on the play as Millington continues to be the workhorse in this Lion offense.
But the thing that I like what BC's doing here is they're not staying with 1 or 2 or 3 plays. They're mixing it up, just much like Toronto's doing. On that play, they run a screen. Now, if you got a blitzing defense or defense is getting a lot of pressure, you're going to throw the screen to make the defensive lineman think about coming too hard.
Damon Allen, simply perfect so far. 5 for 5 for 33 yards in the air. Looks downfield. Nick Mazzoli can't quite hang on to it as the ball was thrown just behind him as he made the curl.
And really nice protection by BC. They keep everybody in to block. Toronto brings everybody. Damon Allen has time and just kind of throws a little off to the right. Nick Mazzoli goes high, tries to come back to the ball, makes a super effort to try and grab it, almost pulls it in.
Mazzoli coming back to the Lions out of retirement in mid-September, was working in the auto leasing and fleet sales business when he got the call from Adam Rita.
And I think that's great because they've lost Andrew English, a rookie who'd been playing very well at the slot back position for them.
Pinball on the run. Brought down immediately, and it's Sean Millington.
This man is a horse. I don't know how much they're paying this guy, but if he's renegotiating his contract, I'll be his agent. I'll tell you that.
We talked to Doug Flutie about how pinball might factor into this offense, carrying the load now for Robert Drummond.
Pinball is going to carry Pinball's load and Drummond's load, as far as I'm concerned. And he can do it. And he's going to return every kick and every punt and play quarterback. Yeah.
So Doug Flutie doesn't seem all that concerned about not having Robert Drummond in there, knowing that Pinball Clemens can, as he said, do it all. In fact, he's taken the snap already today.
I'm sure we'll see him throwing by the end of the game here.
First down Argos. Ball at their own 41, and there's Pinball taking the direct snap again, but this time Virgil Robertson was waiting for him.
The difference between this and Drummond is such a big back with incredible burst of speed that he'll break the first line of tackles. Pinball a little smaller, likes to bounce off people, allows the rest of the defense to kind of converge on him and stop him for a short game.
Pinball Clemens, who along with Robert Drummond are said to blind Doug Flutie and the others in that huddle with their smiles. Those guys have so much fun when they're playing football. And I know Pinball is really missing his soulmate, Robert Drummond. They say they get a lot of emotional inspiration from each other. Second down and long. Pinball's wide open, and he's got it. At the BC 30, finally hog-tied by Robert Holland and Kelly Lockbaum. A 35-yard gain, and the pinball is shaken up. Bad news for Toronto if this is serious.
Well, they can't afford to lose Pinball, but I tell you, Doug Flutie is spreading this offense so well. He's got the matchup he wants. He's got Pinball Clemens on Kelly Lockbaum, the rookie. He just takes him, gives him a move, takes him down the seam, and he's got him by 3 or 4 yards. Makes a nice catch.
And you see the look on Robert Drummond's face, the look of concern, as his buddy Mike Pinball Clemens lies prone on the turf. They're pulling up on his sternum on the shoulder pads there, and Don Matthews is furious on the Argo sideline. One more look at it, Chris.
Well, you can tell he's got Kelly Lockbaum, makes a nice over-the-shoulder catch here, and Robert Holland just puts a nice helmet on him here and rolls him over in the turf, and at the end of the play, his shoulder gets driven into the turf. And a lot of times when you're being tackled on this turf, which is hard, your shoulder will pop, and you'll stretch, and then it'll pop back. And it's just like a sharp pain in the beginning, but it gradually wears off.
It looked as though Mike Clemens may have had the wind knocked out of him. He's only 5'6", 170, a small man who has been so durable in a big man's game.
And I've been totally amazed by him for the fact that not only does what he does here, which is go down the seam and make a great athletic catch. And of course, one thing about pinball is he doesn't like to be tackled by the first guy, so he keeps fighting and stays up there and lets other people come and hit him.
The Canadian Norm Casola is in for pinball. Flutie 6 for 7 for 107 yards so far. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He's flushed Johnny Scott and finds Norm Casola open at the 20. So Norm Casola comes in and is immediately put to work.
Well, he does a nice job, I tell you what. Norm Casola got his first catch last week. But what I like about this is Joe Fleming does a nice job, comes across, beats the center. Mike Kislak gets in Flutie's face. Boom. He still has the presence of mind to make a completion.
There's Pinball and Drummond on the sidelines. Pinball off the field for the mandatory 3 plays.
And even Hurt smiling.
Casola, as you mentioned, only 1 catch for 10 yards coming in, and he does his job. Makes the grab and then leaves the game as the Argos go to work here. 2nd down and about 4. Nobody in the backfield as Flutie rolls, finds Dwayne Dimitrition open, stops, cuts back into the middle, and it moves inside the BC 10-yard line. Dwayne Dimitrition, the Canadian from the University of Saskatchewan, who has had a great season, leading the Argos in average yards per catch at 23, and the longest catch of the season at 78.
And Toronto's going with the tight end offense. They got 2 big guys coming in, big horses, give more protection. It's almost a bit of a play action. They kind of roll to the left, hits Dimitrition, makes a nice move, and tries to turn it up for even more yardage.
He was the MVP in the Vanier Cup a few years back, played right here.
He likes this place.
Here's Flutie, 1st down. 6 into the end zone and right through the arms of Paul Massotti. That went through the arms of a couple of players before it got to him.
And good pressure again. BC is starting to get some pressure on the offensive line here. Johnny Scott, Virgil Robinson coming. You can see them coming up here, make some nice moves, and Toronto is still trying to do the cut blocks. And after a while you cut, the defensive linemen will start using their hands to push the helmet into the ground, not allowing their helmet to get into their feet.
Johnny Scott never played football in college. They call him the freak of nature, Ludo. And the pinball. That's a good sign. He's back in the game. 2nd down.
Good sign, not for BC.
2nd and goal from about the 6.5. Flutie this time goes for pinball, and there's a flag on the play. B.J. Gallus was draped all over him.
Well, B.J. Gallus got caught. He tried to give a little tug on Pinball's jersey as Pinball tried to come back into the center of the field by the goalpost, and the back line judge thought about it and threw the flag.
Forward pass interference. BC number 29. 1st down.
And so Gallus is flagged for interference. The kid making a case for Rookie of the Year in the West.
You see him line up in a slot back, just makes a nice inside move, and you see a little hang on the. It's not even that bad, really. It almost looked like he tried to grab some jersey. It almost looked like he was just brushing up the backside.
1st down and 1. Argos. Flutie sneaks across the goal line. Touchdown, Argos. Doug Flutie with his 4th rushing touchdown of the season. And the Argos open the lead. 13-0 now over BC.
And after looking at that replay, one of the things that kind of bothers you is when you have a team that's so used to scoring as the referees like to throw the flags if they see anything that causes the momentum of the receiver to be stopped. I think B.J. Gallus might have some question about that call.
The convert is good indeed. Chris Walby, 2nd and 6.5. The Lions appeared to be in good shape, forcing the Argos into a field goal situation. But the penalty put them on the goal line, and 1 play later, the Argos go up by 2 touchdowns.
And the thing that really is tough is you got the guy in the backside making the call. Here you see Doug Flutie just getting behind his big horses, just pushing them right back into the end zone for a quarterback sneak. Right here, low level angle. Willie Williams, the boys center, Mike Kislak, Verschable, that left side, just doing a great job pushing BC's defensive line back.
Pile-up of humanity as Flutie gets across the goal line and then gets on the headset to John Jenkins.
But getting back to that play, and I don't want to, beleaguer this point, but the line judge, the guy from behind at the back of the end zone, is throwing the flag. The infraction took place behind him because he can't really see the hand because it's facing the other end of the field. Tough call for B.J. Gallus on that play.
So they'll line it up, the Argos to kick off. Mike Vanderjack, the biggest leg in the league. And 3 Lions are back to receive. It's Gale, Thompson, and Philpott. And once again, this time they go to Larry Thompson down the middle. He hands it off to Rashid Gale. Gale tries to find a seam across the 30 and is piled up at about the 33-yard line. Brendan Rodgers in on the tackle.
Kind of a different type of reverse. Larry Thompson doesn't even try and go to the opposite side of the field.
Let's go down to the sidelines, and here's Steve Armitage.
Thank you, Mark. For you fans of pinball, and there are many across the CFL, no need to worry. The reason he had to sit out those 3 plays, he fell on the football and had the wind knocked out of him. You get the feeling it will take an awful lot to keep that man out of any game, guys.
Great news, Steve. Looks like the pinball's also a tad hungry.
He's giving that mouthpiece a workover.
Here's Allen, first down. Lions pressure. Gets out of the pocket. He's dangerous when he runs. O'Shea tracks him down. Allen gets it away, and Trevathan's wide open. And Dodd Smith drills him out of bounds.
But again, this is what Damon Allen has to do. The fact that he can scramble, much like Doug Flutie, allows him to gain more time, to move around, to find a receiver. Does that just there. Hits Mike Trevathan for a nice gain and a first down in Toronto's territory.
Last play of the first quarter, a 25-yard gain for Trevathan. His team is down by 14. Welcome back to Toronto. The Argos lead by 14, and Don Smith still savoring a tremendous hit on Mike Trevathan.
Well, let's look at the start of this play. Damon Allen just sitting straight drop back. Demetrius Maxey, great pressure from the weak side there. Forces Damon Allen to scramble, uses his athletic ability before he goes down. Nice throw to Trevathan, but watch that. They're going to have to check those helmets for cracks after that hit. This is a great job by Demetrius Maxey working against Todd Furlick on the backside here. And Damon Allen does a nice job just eluding Mike O'Shea, throwing a nice pitch and catch to Mike Trevathan.
Trevathan looking like he was a few fries short of a Happy Meal after that one. Here's the handoff to Big Sean Millington through the center of the Argo defense and very close to a first down. Lester Smith finally brings him down, the Argo free safety.
And they're pulling the backside of the line. They're bringing it over here. Jamie Terrace, Todd Furtick coming around, opening some holes for Diesel. He runs through that hole, and he will not run around you. He will run over you.
So the Lions are about a yard and a half away from the first down. It's second down just inside the Toronto 40, and they bring out the heavy artillery. Noah Cantor, Brendan Rodgers into the game on defense for the Argos. There's Joe Fleming on the right side for BC. The give. Millington, and he's hit immediately by Demetrius Maxey. How did he get through?
Well, I'll tell you what, we've talked about him, the number of tackles he makes from that short side of the field, his strength. He's probably one of the strongest Argos on this football team. He just overpowers the guy blocking across from him. Just goes right through Chuck Bradley. Bam.
And that's a huge play on defense for Toronto. It's a loss of about a yard for BC, and it forces them into a punting situation.
And one of the things that BC has never had happen a lot is get stuffed on 3rd and short. Millington is usually Mr. Reliable, much like Robert Drummond in Toronto.
So the Lions will have to turn over the ball as Pasaglia stands just across his side of center field. Pinball Clemens, the lone return man, waiting for the Argos. He's got it at the 10, on the run, and quickly tracked down by the BC Lions. 32-yard punt by Pasaglia and a 5-yard return. And some tempers beginning to boil over. Looked like Adrian Smith was in there.
Doug Davies, the snapper, the long snap for BC on the punting situation.
Major foul. Unnecessary roughness. BC number 10, first down.
So Dave Donaldson is flagged for unnecessary roughness, and that will give the Argos some breathing room as they come out of the shadow of their goalposts.
Well, this is something you don't want to do. You don't want to give a team like Toronto better field position than they normally always get.
Frank Smith talking that over with Donaldson. You're right, Chris.
Well, Donaldson doesn't get to play a whole lot. He's basically a special teamer, and so you got to make sure when you're on the special teams that that's what you do and you do it right.
So the Argos will open this drive at their 30. The best quarter this season is the one you're watching for Toronto. Second quarter. Quick out pass to Paul Masadi. He's got the first down before B.J. Gallus finally brings him down at about the 43-yard line of Toronto.
One of the things that Paul Masadi does so well is he reads coverage. He sees B.J. dropping down into a zone, comes in, cuts inside, makes a nice catch. 57 catches, 720 yards coming into the game, and 4 touchdowns.
Masadi with 720 yards, as you said. This Argo team had a chance to have 4 receivers over 1,000 had Robert Drummond not gone down. And it looks like that may be all for naught. First down. Flutie in the shotgun. Gets a good look. Pressure from Robertson. Flutie bails out. Buys some time. Wants to throw. And finally tries to get the ball to, it looked like Andre Kerwan, but it went right into the dirt.
And let's give BC's defensive back some credit here. Anytime Doug Flutie gets outside the pocket, he has the potential to run or to throw deep, and the receivers will alter their routes that they're running. They do a great job of staying with it. As you see Flutie coming out to the outside, he wants to throw, he pulls it back down. He's looking. Exceptional coverage down the field.
Great coverage. Flutie had at least 7 steamboats on that one. Lock bomb. Locking on to Flutie here. Second down. And 10. Argos. Flutie will go down the middle. But Dwayne Dimitrishan was open and just overthrown. He was open in the seam.
Well, obviously some kind of communication problem with Greg Frères and Robert Holland. BC decides to just rush 3 defensive linemen and drop 9 to take away from that. Dimitrishan, and he's been doing this a lot lately, he might be the secret weapon on this team, finds himself again wide open down the seam. Doug's a little disappointed. If he would have put that on the money, I think they would have 7 more.
So the Lions force the Argos into a punting situation. Mike Vanderjack standing back just inside his 30. The Lions will send 1 man back. Larry Thompson to return, doing double duty at receiver and on special teams. High spiraling hoof from Vanderjack sends Thompson back to his 17-yard line. Nowhere to go. Drilled and drops the ball. It's picked up by Adrian Smith. He's got some room. And Smith is dragged down by Damian Lyons. What a turnover.
What a pop. You got Brendan Rodgers down there making the tackle. Mike O'Shea.
Argos now threatening to blow this wide open in the first half. Noah Cantor, the St. Mary's product, putting the shot on Larry Thompson that produced this big turnover.
Well, what you like is you see Marcelo Simmons doing the right thing, forcing the ball back upside. Noah Cantor gets a big shoulder in there, knocks it loose. Adrian Smith picks it up, and had it not been for the tackle by Damian Lyons, it'd be another touchdown. And there's the dance. His back is not out of whack. That is a celebration of sorts.
Argos second in the league with turnovers. That's their 50th so far this season. Flutie rolls. Looks like a broken play. Under pressure. Throws for the pinball, and he can't come up with it. Out of bounds. David Benefield putting the heat on Flutie.
Benefield coming all the way from the opposite side of the field, designed to go to the left of your field, comes back the opposite way. Benefield just keeps running, keeps running. Adam Reeder said he's getting down into CFL playing weight now, but Brooke Finley at the top of the screen does a nice job of covering Pinball Clemens, and that is a chore for anyone.
Especially a big man like Finley, keeping up with,
well, 6'4", 235 pounds, covering a runaway fire hydrant.
Argos second and 10 from the BC 15-yard line. Nobody in the backfield. 6 receivers downfield. Flutie with time across the middle, and it's complete to Mike Pinball Clemens, and he's punished again by Maurice Kelly. Pinball at the 5-yard line.
When you're rushing 3 and dropping 9, you're going to be playing a zone, an umbrella coverage. But you can't let a guy sit in the pocket. You got to have somebody sit a little tighter on Pinball. For 9 guys in the backfield, he's inside Maurice Kelly and Kelly Lockbaum. Let's take a look at the protection on this one again. Willie Williams working. Does a really nice job. Hands inside, keeping Benefield to the outside.
1st and goal from the 3. Flutie rolls right. All kinds of pressure. Wide open in the end zone. Mike Pinball Clemens. Touchdown, Toronto.
You cannot take gambles. BC is taking chances right now. Maurice Kelly does not get out and pick Pinball Clemens just sitting wide open. Couple steps and he's in the end zone.
Flutie and Clemens link up for the touchdown. The double blue faithful enjoying this one. We thought the Lions might give the Argos a match here today, but so far it's all Toronto.
Well, they're just killing themselves is what they're doing. They're taking themselves out of the game by mistakes and broken coverages and penalties. You can't afford to do that.
Mike Clemens with the big smile that is his trademark in this game connects with Doug Flutie, and it's 21-0 Toronto. The matchup of the CFL's 2 top quarterbacks so far has been all Doug Flutie. The numbers, he's 11 of 16 for 156 yards and 2 touchdowns. Damon Allen, who's been warming up, waiting for a chance to get back on the field, has yet to put his team in the end zone as Larry Thompson receives the kick at his own 10. Thompson up to speed, and he's got some daylight. Thompson looking for a block from Corey Philpott on Don Wilson, and finally goes out of bounds just across center field. Excellent field position for the Lions to start this next drive.
That's what you want if you're a BC fan, starting in excellent field position, as you said, Mark. Let's take a look at that. There's Mike Kisleck, the 96th outstanding offensive lineman in the league. And let's watch what he does here. Here he is in the center. Run this play now, we'll see it. He comes out and picks up a blitzing B.J. Gallus that allows Doug Flutie the time to get to the outside. Throw an easy dig pass to Pinball Clemens, and it is 21-0, Mark.
And so Kiselak, the key to that play, chipping Gallus and giving Flutie the time on his blind side. 1st down Lions. Damon Allen in trouble, and he's sacked. Marcelo Simmons for a big loss.
Well, they're just bringing the outside linebacker, Marcelo Simmons. Most of the time is going to be in coverage, picking up a slot back. And this time, he just lines up and comes, and nobody picks him up.
And so suddenly that favorable field position has been put back 12 yards.
And you can see Marcelo, and he just comes up here, makes a nice job, nice tackle on Damon. I don't know. Damon Allen most of the time can elude those kind of pressures. I don't know. Is he hurt, or is he just...
Well, he took a licking against the Ticats last week, and we saw him warming up. He looked awfully stiff. Down the middle for Mazzoli. It was in his hands.
That was a really nice throw, and he had pressure. Demetrius Maxey knocking Furlock right back to the quarterback. But Damon Allen does what he says he has to do, and that is drop the pass into the hands of the receiver. He's just behind Johnny Harris, goes up and hits his hands. He makes it. He's got to have those. You need that if you want to start getting some momentum and put some points on the board. You're going to need those catches by Mazzoli.
As Tommy Joe Coffey used to say, if you can touch it, you should catch it. Punting situation, Caravata. High spiraling kick that puts the pinball back inside his 15-yard line. Reverses field, finds an opening. Look at that. Go. Wow. Mike Clemens single-handedly weaves through the BC contain for a 24-yard return.
Wow is the operative word here, Mark. He just does so much stuff. He changes field of direction so quickly. Makes the catch here, comes to the left, stops on a dime, comes back against the flow, and then eludes tackles. And that's the thing. He just keeps spinning, and those legs are like pistons, and they just don't stop moving. I mean, he just keeps breaking tackles, turning, twisting.
Doug Flutie was saying the other day, one of the reasons pinball is so elusive is that he knows how to give ground. Instead of trying to barrel straight ahead when there's nowhere to go, he gives ground, reverses field, and finds another opening. That was a perfect example of that. The Argo scrimmage, first down in their own 40. Shovel patches high. Look at that one-handed catch by Pinball.
He does it all, doesn't he? I mean, he just got great hands. Little high pitch by Doug. Little shovel pass inside. Take advantage of the Russian defensive lineman.
Joe Fleming is the man who makes the tackle.
You can see right here, they got a double team. Willie Williams has got a little chip and then come back upside. Tries to get outside of Pierre Verschavel. Joe Fleming does a great job of fighting off the block of Verschavel and getting the mitts on Pinball, limiting his gain to 4 yards.
Dangerous play. Made good by the Pinball. Reminded me of that high shovel pass that Drummond took last week in Winnipeg, the play on which he was injured. Turning around the field. Here's Flutie. Time. Batted down and picked off by Maurice Kelly. Doug Flutie's pass was nicked at the line, and Maurice Kelly was there on a perfect tip drill.
And what you're going to see, BC is going to try and mix up. We talked about this at the opening. You've got to mix up your defensive coverages. You've got to mix up your defensive line stunts. On that particular play, we had some twist inside. You can see Benefield coming around. Gets his hand up on it. Virgil Robinson with the tip. Maurice Kelly makes a nice grab. You can see they're running twists on both sides of the line. Virgil Robinson coming around for the end position. Gets his hand on it.
So Kelly burned by Jack Jackson in the first quarter. Redeems himself with an interception, and the Lions are in Argo territory. Quick pass and a Mike O'Shea. You can hear that all the way up here.
Great contact. Mike O'Shea and the guy that's supposed to block him, Jamie Terrace, Mr. Reliable. He's going to be out there. He's going to try and get on him. There he makes a nice catch. You can see Jamie Terrace tries to get enough of Mike O'Shea, doesn't get it. Mike O'Shea reads it and puts a good stick.
He's swamped. Corey Philpott will get maybe 1 yard on the game.
And a headache to boot.
There you see O'Shea peering into the Lion offensive backfield, second and long. And the blitz, Maxey, right through the gut of the BC offensive line.
Well, we talked about they give you so many formations. They line up so many people on line of scrimmage. Cause confusion to that offensive line. Todd Furtick, Sean Millington have a discussion. Who do I have? Who do you have? You better get it straight because he's coming up. He's right at the top of your screen right now. Millington takes the outside guy. Nobody takes the inside guy. Another sack, the 5th of the year for Demetrius Maxey.
And so the Lions lose a great opportunity to score in this football game.
And mark exactly. Every time they do something positive, something happens to take them out.
Pasaglia attempting a 44-yard field goal. He's got a sore calf muscle in his right leg, but it doesn't seem to affect his distance there. Pasaglia is good.
And that's why he's played 22 years in this league and probably many more.
And the Lions are on the board. It's Saturday night and the return of doubleheader coverage of Hockey Night in Canada beginning at 9 Eastern with the Leafs at the Islanders under new captain Matt Sundin, and then it's the rematch, Vancouver and Anaheim from Tokyo. Last night the Canucks winning 3-2 but losing the services of the Moose Mark Messier with what appears to be a severe Charlie horse. No word yet on how long he'll be out of the lineup. The kickoff is taken by Lester Smith across the 35 and hauled down by Brooks Findlay as he made his way across the 40-yard line. A 51-yard boot and an 18-yard return by the safety.
And I think everybody in Toronto wants to touch the ball. Pinball does it. Lester Smith touches the ball. He says, I'm not going to be outdone by Pinball. He makes a nice nifty return himself. Boy, when you're winning and things are going right, you are having fun on the field.
And it's been pitch and catch for Doug Flutie and his receivers so far this afternoon. The Argos building a 21-3 lead here with 6 minutes to go in the second quarter of this football game. Flutie, 2 touchdown passes already in the shotgun. Steps up across the middle. There's Jack Jackson. First down and more. Robert Holland and Damian Lyons in on the tackle as Jackson, the newcomer, makes a 24-yard gain.
Well, 24-yard gain, but how in God's name is he so wide open? There's nobody around him. This is, again, a broken coverage, miscommunication by the defensive backfield or linebackers of the BC Lions. You cannot allow any receiver, much less a man with that kind of speed, to be that wide open across the middle of the field.
4.28 second speed over the 40 yards at college at Florida. That is world-class sprinter speed from Jack Jackson. There's the handoff to Jackson again. This time, B.J. Gallus is waiting for him and forces him out of bounds, perhaps for a loss of 1.
4.240. Let's expand on that. I can't fall out of my bed that fast and hit the floor.
What did you run the 40 in?
A lot. Well, I'd still be running, yes. We have a calendar.
There's Gallus tracking down the speedy Jackson on the return.
They do a nice job of reading it. This is about the 3rd time Toronto's tried to run this. And recognition by B.J. Gallus.
Having a great year as a rookie.
And forced 3 fumbles.
2nd and 11, the loss of 1 on the play. Flutie, with the staggered cadence, draws a flag and dumps it off to the pinball. And he'll have little or no gain on the play. Maurice Kelly in on the tackle along with Leonard Humphreys.
Well, I tell you, one person that's not going to be too happy about going to the films tomorrow. That's Dave Donaldson. He jumped offside.
Looks like procedure, too.
Offside. BC. Repeat 2nd down.
No, it'll be offside against the Lions. Dave Donaldson fingered on that one.
And one of the things that Doug does, he does 2 things. Once he moves, he does a lot of body movement before he takes the ball. And he does voice fluctuation. And he goes to a regular cadence most of the game. And then every once in a while, he'll start changing his cadence, causing people to jump offside.
So it's 2nd down and 6. Argos at the BC 41. Flutie finds his pal Paul Masadi for a 1st down catch before B.J. Gallus, who's been a yeoman on the Lion defense today, brings him down.
B.J. Gallus, 3 forced fumbles. He's doing a good job. You see him sitting there. He's just going to read it. He picks a 2nd guy coming across. Paul Masadi. Paul finds the hole, makes a nice catch.
Willie Williams limping noticeably. And now the officials will call in the Argo training staff. Adam Rita, obviously a little frustrated with the performance of his offense here, down 21-3.
And one of the nice things, a little bit off football, but Jerry and Marnie Townend, trainers for Toronto Argonauts right there, the head trainer, they just had a baby girl yesterday, so we want to congratulate them. Michaela, everybody's doing well. It's a nice story to hear.
Jerry back to work today as Willie Williams comes off the field. 290 pounds, and
you know,
a lot of weight on
you
a
know
gimpy
he's
joint.
big when they don't put their head under the armpits and carry him, because he'll fold them down like an accordion. You walk, you're big, buddy. You walk off the field on your own.
And as the Argos help Williams off the field, an alarming stat, Chris, 1st down so far in the game. Argos with 15, Lions 3. And that tells the story of the domination of Toronto on offense. 3:40 to go in the 1st half. Focus in the game at tackle for Williams. Flutie, shotgun. Jack Jackson is open again and brought down just across the 1st down marker and the 20. Leonard Humphreys.
And what they've done is they've moved Jeremy O'Day from right tackle to left tackle and put Chad Folk, a rookie out of Utah, at the right tackle spot. A lot of times tackles are favoring to one side. They don't like to switch. They have a hand stance of a certain way, and they play a little better at certain positions. Nice job by Jack Jackson coming back, turning his body to the ball. And they're just reading. The receivers of Toronto are reading the coverage so well, finding the openings right now.
Jackson running disciplined patterns. Flutie now over 200 yards passing in this game. There's Andre Kerwin, the kid from Winnipeg. He's open too. So far, Flutie has had any number of wide open receivers to choose from in this football game. And the Argos dominating 21-3 as Kerwin complains about perhaps being gouged on that tackle. Welcome back to the Skydome in Toronto. Here's what we've got cooking for halftime. Damon Allen, who has been raising eyebrows throughout the league with his high pass efficiency so far this season, 99 and tops in the CFL, will be the special feature at the half, along with your pontification, Chris. The first half analysis. Doug Flutie up the gut on 2nd and short. You know, in this football game, Damon Allen has been good on 5 of 7 attempts, but all of his passes, the average less than 10 yards. He's yet to stretch the Argo defense.
And he has to stretch it. We talked about getting Millington involved. He's got him involved a little bit, but he's got to stretch the defense, and you can see him throwing the ball there.
We've seen that a lot today because he hasn't had much chance to really be on the field in this football game.
He has no rhythm yet. He hasn't got a rhythm, so he's the only way he's going to stay warm and keep fluid is to throw the ball on the sidelines.
Argos 100% when they've been inside the red zone so far in this football game. And here they are again. Flutie, first down, across the middle. This time, the first time we've seen some close coverage on Jack Jackson. That's Maurice Kelly.
And this is what you got to do as a defense. You can't sit back and let the receiver dictate to you what he's going to do. You got to close on him, be like a shirt on a bare back. And Maurice Kelly does that, follows Jack Jackson and stays with him all the way and makes a nice play on it. And almost intercepts the ball.
Very close to having his second pick of the game. 2nd down in Toronto. 2nd and goal. The ball just inside the 10-yard line. The Argos with an empty backfield. 6 receivers. And the blitz. Benefield, Robertson, and they get Flutie.
Wow, this is a great job by the defensive line, because I tell you what, first off, they bring Virgil Robinson untouched. Center pulls out and chops him. You can see right here, the guy falls out. Mike Kislick comes out and does a nice job of chopping Virgil Robinson, but Benefield and Joe Fleming keep working and track him down from the opposite side of the field and get a sack.
Dan Payne helpless to help on that play. You see the battle on the outside spot, Lyons in the pinball.
And that is good coverage. Pinball's trying to give him as much shake and bake as he possibly can. Lyons not biting on any of it.
Vanderjack attempting a 26-yard field goal. And he is good. And with 1:51 to go in the first half, the Argos increase their lead to 24-3, Chris, in what has been a one-sided football game, something that, except for that Edmonton game a few weeks ago, has been par for the course for Toronto. And speaking of the Eskimos, the Battle of Alberta resumes tomorrow at 3 Eastern from Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. The Stampeders and Eskimos in a deadlock for first place, with BC all tied at 8-6, and so this weekend pivotal as these teams come to the fork in the road in their season.
Well, this promises to be a great game on the game tomorrow. Benny Goods and company of Edmonton is looking to have lay a licking on Garcia and Calgary.
Lions scrimmaging from their 35. The shovel pass to Millington, spoiled on that mishap.
Well, Millington just slips here, and I think he felt that he wasn't touched because he got up and continued to run. That's one of those things, if the ref doesn't see a guy touch you, you can get up, pick that ball, and run.
You're right. Nobody touched Millington. He should have been allowed to get up and continue.
Well, my eagle eyes picked that and detected it, and I will have a talk with the referees after this game.
So Millington falls on his own, gets up, but the play is whistled down.
This isn't college, my friend.
Exactly. In the CIAU, when you fall down and aren't touched, the play is dead, but not in the CFL. As Dave Easley goes over strategy with his defenders. Allen, 2nd down and 11. The ball is thrown behind, and Johnny Harris puts a lick on Nick Mazzoli, who did his best to come across the grain to catch it.
Well, we talked about Damon Allen not having any rhythm, and he doesn't right now. He's throwing behind the receiver. Mazzoli comes across. He has to turn back to try and get the ball, allowing Johnny Harris to get a good shot on him, not allowing him any chance of keeping that ball in his possession.
And so the Lions are forced to punt again. Caravata had a skyrocket 54-yarder his first punt. This time another beauty. Clemens back at his 25. Turns on the dime. And Clemens has got some daylight. Finally dragged down from behind. It was Robert Holland showing some speed.
Well,
but a 25-yard return.
They just can't keep doing this. They get a great kick by Caravata. They got guys down there doing the cover. You can see him at the bottom. He gets a nice Starts to left again. Change of direction. Brad Yamoka, boy, I tell you what, pull up them pants, son, because they're around your ankles. Whoa, he made some moves out there.
Number 12, Brett Anderson, is the injured Lion, sitting on the 40.
Now, I don't want to make light of this situation, but I guarantee you we wouldn't be doing any better trying to tackle this man.
153 yards for Pinball Clemens, all-purpose so far today. And is he carrying the load left by Robert Drummond or what?
Well, they got so much talent on this squad. Robert Drummond, being the gentleman he is and the class player he is, he wants to play. And like you said, he thought he'd miss one game. Toronto, with all their stars, is going to try and keep him up for 3 games. They don't want to take a chance on re-injuring or making the knee any more serious. But Pinball, as you say, comes into the game with 2,885 total yards, closing in on his record of 3,300 he set in 1990 when he was the league MVP.
Robert Drummond watching on, nursing the injured knee that was operated on at 1:30 in the morning Wednesday. And Thursday he was running. Says he'd like to be back in 1 week, although the conservative estimate is 3 weeks.
And you know, Don Matthews said he's already got his full range of motion, which is unheard of.
And I said, are you really wanting to get back to get that double, 1,000 yards rushing, 1,000 yards passing, to tie Roger Craig, the only other man in pro football to do that? And he said, you know what, the stats don't mean anything to me. I just want to get to the Grey Cup and I want to be healthy to do that.
Doug Flutie is upset. Benefield gave him a little tug on the jersey and spun him around a little bit. Doug does not like to be touched, and he'll be the first one to go to the referee and complain if he thinks that he's being excessively pushed.
Well, the pinball was curtailed on that last play for one of the rare occasions so far in this first half. Second down and 11. Flutie backs up out of the shotgun, goes down the middle, and is picked off again. Greg Frères, the free safety, took that one on the run.
Nice interception by Greg Frères, but BC is rushing 3 people. And Benefield comes off the right side and lays a licking on Doug Flutie, and this is what you got to do to disrupt his rhythm. He's not happy, but if you got guys coming in your face, and you can see right here, Benefield comes in, does a nice move on Jeremy O'Day, and lays Flutie out, and that's what you got to do.
Pinball Clemens, the intended receiver, with the pressure, forces Flutie to throw the ball too soon, and that's his second interception of the first half. 52 seconds to go in the half. The Lions over center field. First deep pass of the game. Intended for Larry Thompson, but blanket coverage on the play from Adrian Smith.
And not to correct you, that is the 3rd interception. There's Doug Flutie. He's upset. But you can see he's in a drop back, and David Benefield and Johnny Scott converge. And that is the only way you will beat this Toronto team, is by keeping Doug on the backside of his seat. Nice coverage by Adrian Smith on that time on Alfred Jackson.
Damon Allen, second and long. He's going to try to run, but loses his footing and is dropped by Ken Benson with some help from Reggie Gibbons.
Boy, we talked about all the looks you're going to get from Toronto, and boy, they just change it up. If they're not bringing Marcelo Simmons from one side, they're bringing Ken Benson from the other side.
You know, that's a good point, you know, in correcting me on the interception total with 3. How often have you seen Flutie throw 3 interceptions in one half of football and have a commanding lead like 24-3?
Well, not very often, but you just wonder. The reason that Toronto took this time out, I think, is to record their defensive stats. They are bringing everybody but the kitchen sink. They just do so much. They read so well off each other. If Benson comes and is picked up, they're going to bring somebody else. If Marcelo Simmons comes, they're going to bring another person.
Caravana to punt. This time a bit of a duck. Comes down to pinball across the 22-yard line, and he is brought down immediately. That was Harry Van Hoffwegen, the Carlton product.
An old teammate of mine who's said to me yesterday, I only get to play on coverage teams, and I'm going to make a presence. Well, he's made a tackle today, and he's one of the few times that he has stopped pinball. And you can see pinball, but he's just tying his shoes not to be alarmed.
Mike Pinball Clemens.
He is so fast, he comes out of his own shoes.
That time, Van Hofwegen holding him to just a 3-yard return.
And that's what you have to do for BC to try and get some field position for their offense. You can't keep giving up the big returns and starting in midfield or in your own territory.
34 seconds to go in the half. As Van Hofwegen looks on, Flutie at his 25 behind the center. The handoff is to Pinball again, finds some room. Look at that. First down, Mike Clemens, and he's rushed out of bounds by B.J. Gallus.
Well, Big Willie Williams back in the lineup, but Jeremy O'Day and Dan Payne do a nice job. It's called a counter play. They come from the right hand of your screen. You can see them. They're coming around, blocking somebody, finding somebody, create a seam, and Pinball with his peripheral vision. Any crack, and he's taking it, and he's gone. He's going to turn it into a nice game.
Clemens tying up the laces once again, following that Argo convoy, and it's first down Toronto at the 43-yard line. Mike Pinball Clemens is a one-man show so far this afternoon as he gets across center field, and another first down.
Just a little screen play, let the defensive lineman get upside. You see him, they'll hit, and release. Mike Kislick will turn him. Little drop pass, dink pass, if you will, runs him across, get your lineman in front, trying to create an opening for the Pinball.
Pinball showing some great deception there. He looked almost too tired to run that play, and then he slipped out and made the catch. Here's Flutie. All kinds of time to throw. And the catch is made. Daryl Mitchell into the game.
Well, I know they want to rush free, and they have been getting pressure on Doug Flutie. Doug Flutie wants to go hurry up now. He wants to keep these guys. BC's defense has been on the field so much, they're getting tired. You can see them, they're leaning over. They got their hands on their knees. Doug recognizes this and wants to take advantage of it with the hurry-up offense.
Time running out. 4 seconds to go. Flutie gets the ball away to Mitchell again. He turns inside and is tackled as time expires at the BC 40-yard line. Leonard Humphreys with the tackle as David Benefield goes down on one knee. So does Johnny Scott.
Well, I'll tell you
what.
Are
they tired or what?
They are tired, Mark. You see Joe Fleming. You see Maurice Kelly. Dave Benefield is still down.
Let's go down to Steve, who's with Adam Rita.
Thank you, Mark. Last weekend against Hamilton, you needed a miracle comeback to beat the Ticats. Can you do it 2 weeks in a row? This time against the Argos.
Well, we're going to try. We're down by 21 points right now. We've got to find an answer to their blitz offensively. And, you know, if we can do that, then we can move the football.
What are they doing on defense that's giving you so much trouble?
Well, they're packing it up against the run and blitzing us, so we have to get the ball off the field somehow. Our receivers aren't adjusting to the blitz, so we have to get that remedied right away.
Adam, good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
All Argos so far in this first half. They lead 24-3 here at Skydome, and they're doing it all without Robert Drummond. Stay with us. CFL on CBC halftime in just a moment.
Argo fans basking in the sunshine this October Saturday afternoon and basking in the glow of a huge Toronto halftime lead. It's 24-3 over BC at the half. Well, Damon Allen has played in the CFL for 13 seasons now, and he says this is the first year after all that time that he's been playing in an offense that is tailored around him. Finally, he says he's getting to call his own plays in an Adam Rita system that is taking full advantage of his skills. And the proof for Damon Allen has been in his season. Damon Allen has played on 5 different teams in the CFL. His best years were in Edmonton, where he was twice a Grey Cup champion. But this might be his most satisfying season yet.
So far, I am happy. I think there's so much room for improvement for our football team. Football, to me, is just a game, but it's a game I enjoy playing and been given the talents and the ability to play this game. So I try not to take that for granted.
Allen is the all-time rushing leader among CFL quarterbacks. At 34, he continues to be a running threat.
I may not be as fast as I used to be, but I think I'm as smart as far as running the football as I ever been. And basically, I just, pick my opportunities to run, but in the same time, still trying to be aggressive in the ball game.
This season, Damon Allen has complemented his gifted gait with his accurate arm. To date, the CFL's top passing quarterback.
I'm very suitable for this league. In the CFL, you have to be able to throw the football to be able to play as many years as some of the great quarterbacks have played. You must be able to run the football also. So in my mind, I think I have the total package to be a CFL quarterback.
The big difference this year is being able to run the offense himself.
I like to be in control of the football field, call plays that I like and feel they will work, because I'll make them work because I'm the one that's calling the plays. Coaches calling plays for quarterbacks really takes away from, I think, the rhythm of the game, how the game is going, and what the quarterback sees.
Calling his own plays, making wise decisions, dispelling the knock he can't read defenses, Allen has thrown fewer interceptions than anyone else.
I wouldn't be able to play 13 years if I wasn't smart enough to play that position. You know, I have to believe that I'm football smart, along with having the ability to play that game. I feel I can read defense as well as anybody in this league, or has ever played in this league. I have a great desire to compete in another Grey Cup, or a couple more. I'm not going to stop this game until I go to every team in the league and they tell me I can't play anymore.
And at this rate, Damon Allen is a candidate for the CFL's most outstanding player, and his Lions a contender for the Cup. But so far in this football game, Damon Allen has been upstaged by Doug Flutie. It has been a frustrating first half. In the last 7 Lions possessions, they have managed just 1 first down. And you can imagine what's being said in the Lion locker room right now as they're down big, 24-3 to Toronto at the half. Welcome back to the Skydome in Toronto at the half. The Lions have been hard-pressed to give the Argos a football game. They trail 24-3, Chris Walby. And look at the quarterback comparison. We billed this as a battle of the 2 best quarterbacks in the league, but so far, Flutie outshining Damon Allen with 239 yards passing. Allen just 58 yards in the first half.
And, you know, to reiterate what you said earlier, only 1 first down in the last 7 offensive possessions, and you cannot win many football games if you're not moving the ball.
All right, you've got some highlights for us, some keys to what went wrong and what went well.
Well, I mean, I think it started off really good for BC. Doug Flutie drops back to throw a ball. We got a little pressure. Rasheed Gale makes a nice interception. This is what you want to do. This is how you want to start a game as a football club. Get good field position. Unfortunately, they weren't able to do anything with it at the time.
Flutie with 3 interceptions in the first half to go with his 2 touchdowns.
And on this play, he finds Jack Jackson, a newcomer from the University of Florida, wide open, running by Maurice Kelly, making the score 7-0. Does a nice job, nice hands. Now on this replay, Doug just a fake bootleg, comes backside, gets a great block from Mike Kislak, wide open pinball Clemens. Again, a miscommunication from the BC defensive backfield. That is what's killing BC right now.
Mike Clemens doing yeoman's work in place of the injured Robert Drummond with 186 all-purpose in the first half. And here are your game notes to update.
Well, we wanted to involve Millington. They have to somewhat. They got 6 rushes, 17 yards. He's going to break one. You got to keep pounding away. They try to confuse Flutie. The 3 interceptions say they are doing a little bit of that, but he's still throwing 2 touchdowns and 239 yards, which is a great first half.
Well, the BC defense is doing its job so far, Chris. The offense, though, has got to do better than a 9-yard average per pass gain so far in this first half. And so I'm sure Damon Allen is thinking about that and looking for ways to stretch this Toronto defense if they're to come back in the second half. Back in Toronto, where Don Matthews has just finished firing up his team to keep being aggressive in the second half after dominating the first half. And look at these Canadian Tire halftime stats, Chris. First downs, only 3 for the Lions to 20 for Toronto. And I know the second quarter was a wash for BC.
Well, the biggest thing is, I mean, I'm still amazed at 20 first downs. Some teams like that in the whole game. BC had no first downs in the second quarter, no yard passing in the second quarter, and a total of 8 yards rushing. That is unbelievable for this team and the offensive talent that they do have.
And Doug Flutie has had 4 times the number of passing yards than his counterpart in BC, Damon Allen. The Lions will kick off to start the second half.
And it's important they get some great downfield coverage, trying to keep Toronto pinned down.
Red Anderson going to the sidelines. It's too short for Flutie. It's taken by, it looks like, Norm Casola. And Casola is dragged down just shy of the 45-yard line on that play. Back in Toronto, where you know what Doug Flutie's thinking about right now, complacency. That's something that the Argos have battled when they've been up big at the halftime, such as they are now. It happened last week in Winnipeg.
But they've had this situation so many times this year, they start to learn to play with it. They've had to lead on teams this much.
Here's Flutie rolling, dumps it across the pinball, and he's tracked down immediately. Still isn't down. Finally, after 3 or 4 Lions had a look at him, pinball goes down. Johnny Scott got a good shot at him, but the pinball even managed to get away from him.
When pinball was a kid, he walked around with a shirt that had a sign on saying, "Hit me," because he keeps doing it until everybody on that team is taking a shot before he goes down. Amazing. I mean, pinball, I don't know who came up with that nickname for him, but it's totally apropos from here. You can see Johnny Scott's got him, loses him, gets another hit. Virgil Robinson gets him. I mean, we're talking about 10 guys to gang tackle.
Second down, Flutie bobbles the shotgun, still gets the pass away to Paul Masadi, and he gets across center field for a first down. Everything is going right for the Argos.
And again, what they're doing is they're dropping B.J. Gallus in the zone. Paul Masadi takes 8 to 10 yards up, curls underneath. It's just an easy pitch and catch. You're going to have to go to a little bit more man coverage on BC's side of the ball.
Don Matthews wants Flutie to continue to be aggressive when he has a big lead. Flutie has told me that often he doesn't want to throw interceptions and gets too conservative with a lead. So we'll see what kind of attack they take here in the second half. Flutie downfield again to Paul Masadi for the second pass in a row. And his game will be 6, maybe 7 before Maurice Kelly brings him down.
And again, they rush 3. They drop Virgil Robinson, a linebacker who can run. They drop him back into coverage. Masadi again, the opposite side of the field. 10 yards, turns back, comes back to the ball, picks up 8 yards, just underneath the coverage.
So make it second down. And about 3 yards to go for the Argos. In BC territory at the Lions' 47-yard line.
And BC has got to tighten up. They can't afford to let Toronto march the ball down their throat and score any kind of points.
This is notoriously the Argos' worst quarter. They scored only 97 points, as you saw on that last stat. The give up the middle. Pinball's got all kinds of daylight, and he's gone. Clemens right through the heart of the Lions defense for 47 yards. And his second touchdown of the game.
A nice run, a nice job by the big man up front. They open a huge hole. Pinball does the rest, makes some people miss. Makes Greg Frères the last part of the defense, the safety to miss. You can see him right now. He comes inside. Dan Payne running through. Kelly Loughlin's got to make that play. The safety, Greg Frères, up tight. He has to make that play. Once he gets past Frères, it is a race to the end zone, and no one's going to catch the pinball.
Flutie looking like he's playing on the moon, defying the laws of gravity, making deeks that few other players in the league can perform. And the Argos run their lead to 31-3 early in the third quarter.
What we have here is we have a counter play. We have the left guard here, Pierre Verschavel. Watch this play. Comes around here. He's looking. Does a nice job of blocking out B.J. Gallus at the bottom of your screen, creating a hole that Payne can go up there. And once that's there, that seems there. Pinball is gone.
I didn't even see the pinball there. He was gone so quickly after the block. Larry Thompson on the return. Tries to get upfield and crawls literally for 4 yards to the 35-yard line, an 18-yard return after a 60-yard kickoff, and Norm Casola makes the tackle on Larry Thompson, who was exhausted against Hamilton last week. The Lions threw 58 passes. They ran something like 80 offensive plays, and he was running back all the kicks. So he said today he's going to have to be recovering. Mike Pinball now on complacency.
Success can't be complacency.
Well, I don't know if you could understand that, Chris. We had a little technical trouble there.
That's locker room talk.
Trevathan makes a quick hook catch and is quickly tackled. Clemens talking about complacency, though, on the Argo offense. They only scored 2 points in the second half against Winnipeg last week. Don Matthews was furious and drove home the point that they have to continue to stay aggressive. Let's go down to the sidelines and hear Steve.
Mark, when Pinball came off the field, he pointed to the stands. He dedicated that touchdown to his two mothers, his adopted Canadian mother, Shirley, and his real mother, Ann, who is up here from Florida enjoying Pinball's action this afternoon.
Well, his adopted mother, Shirley, has provided a home for many Argos who are homeless or moving to Toronto for the first time, and Mike Clemens has enjoyed her hospitality as the Lions give up the ball. Don Smith, and there's a flag on the play.
Holding. BC number 59. Decline.
Well, it's not going to help the Lions. That holding call is declined by the Argos, and Adam Rita's Lions will turn over the ball once again.
Well, you can see right here, Todd Furtick, number 59, is going to get a holding call. He's going to pull and keep Reggie Gibbons from getting chased to Damon Allen. Damon Allen gets the corner. He does what he's got to do. Man, he has speed and ability. Get out in the open field and run. Unfortunately, coughs the ball up as he gets tackled. Nice recovery by Donald Smith.
Lester Smith with the strip on Damon Allen, carrying the ball to the inside on that play. First down Argos at the BC 50. Flutie 5 deep in the shotgun, drops back another 5. Good view, and finds Paul Masadi open. And another Toronto first down, Maurice Kelly in on the tackle for BC.
Well, I don't know if BC can't play man coverage or just refuse to do it, but they keep sending 3 and dropping 9, going to zone coverage, and Toronto's receivers are just reading the coverage and finding the open spot, sitting in it, making the catch, getting hit, but picking up crucial first downs.
Damon Allen talking over offense with Adam Rita. This team has been hot and cold, Chris. They'll look like gangbusters one week and go soft the next. Adam Rita saying, I've quit talking about first place. These guys can't stand prosperity. And once again, Masadi open in first down territory with his 6th catch of the game.
And shaken up after the hit.
Leonard Humphreys putting a wallop on Masadi.
But getting back to the play by Masadi, he's going left side of the field. He's going right side of the field, and Flutie knows that it's open. They are not doing anything to stop this play, and he's going to just take it all the way down the throat, all the way down the field, shove it down your throat until you fix this.
Flutie with 5, or rather 8 consecutive completions, and the last 4 to the former Acadia Axeman, Paul Masadi, who is still down on the field. Argos leading 31-3 with 10:02 to go in the third quarter. Paul Masadi has just been helped back onto his feet after taking a ferocious lick from Leonard Humphreys.
We can see Flutie just drop back, simple thing. Masadi reads the zone coverage, makes a nice catch, does a great job of getting hit. But watch this. Look at this face. This face will tell it all right here, people. This is pain. He knows he's got a shot right in the side on the hip. They don't wear the hip pads like they do in college. A lot of times you leave that hip bone open to the helmet.
And so Masadi being helped off the field, still wincing, taking that helmet in the lower back. Norm Casola will be back in the game, taking Masadi's spot at the wideout. Nobody in the Argo backfield. Flutie now 282 yards passing and counting. Reverses his field and rolls for time. Finds Pinball Clemens open. Clemens finds some space, dances down the sidelines, and is finally tackled at the 15-yard line by Kelly Lockbaum. And Clemens looks like he's got a sore ankle.
Yeah, it looks like he twisted his ankle on a tackle. Sometimes he makes so many moves, and if somebody's wrapped up on his ankle, you can see him outside to the left here. He's just finding a spot, gets the ball, starts to shake and bake. Leonard Humphreys tries to make the tackle. Kelly Lockbaum comes over and twists it as he goes down, and you can see him reaching for it right after the tackle.
And Clemens has left the game and been replaced by Matt DeBuck. Once again, the Argos with 6 receivers. Quick shot over the middle intended for Dwayne Dimitrition, but it's behind him and low.
What a good play by BC, and the fact that they're bringing people. They're not going to sit back here now. They're going to come after Doug. Doug knows he's got to get rid of the ball. It's a timing pattern. He has to throw it earlier than he wanted. This is what you got to do to kind of unsettle him, to knock him off his rhythm, because he is hot right now.
Clemens back in. DeBuck goes out after giving Mike a play to catch his wind and maybe ease the pain in what looked like a painful ankle. Clemens so far 245 all-purpose yards, 92 receiving, 70 on the ground, and 83 on returns. Argos again, no one in the backfield. Here comes the blitz from Benefield, and Flutie is drilled. His pass hits the goalpost. Flutie, wallop from the backside by David Benefield, got the pass away, had a man open, looked like Jackson in the end zone, but the pass hit the goalpost.
Well, Benefield comes off the bottom of your screen right here. Nobody's picking him up. Willie Williams is looking inside. This is the free rush to the quarterback. Hello, Doug. I tell you what, that is burying a person right now. That'll knock you after a while. You can see it right now. He comes, he's free. Doesn't see it. The thing that's effective is his blind side is from his other side. He's looking to the right, comes from the left. You can seriously hurt a quarterback that way.
The Argos forced into a field goal situation. Flutie, okay, he's holding for Vanderjack from 22 yards out. Vanderjack is good, but there is a flag on the play. Lockbaum is signaling that it's against the Argos. Payne is saying it's against BC. Here's the call. Holding against the Lions, and Johnny Scott is incensed. And his teammates have to get him back or he'll be flagged for unsportsmanlike conduct.
Well, I'd be interested to hear the call on this. A lot of times what defenses will do is they will pull the blockers to create a seam for someone to come through and try and block the field goal. I haven't seen that call very often, but you're not allowed as a defensive lineman to grab them.
Here's Jake Ireland once again.
Holding, DC number 72.
So Johnny Scott called for holding.
That's exactly what they called. They called Johnny Scott. He's trying to grab the offensive lineman.
And Scott nearly throws his helmet. He's so mad.
You can see it right here. He's just trying to pull a guy outside, create a seam.
And so that penalty to Johnny Scott, who's still fuming and hasn't got his helmet back on, gives the Argos a first down at the BC 8-yard line.
And Mark, I haven't seen that call. I could probably count them 16 years, 5 times in my hand when I've seen that call. And when things are going bad for BC, they are going bad.
Argos yet to be penalized in this game as they scrimmage at the BC 8. First and goal. Flutie looks like disarray. He finds an opening and makes something out of that play before he's dropped just short of the goal line. It's Lockbaum on the tackle for BC.
Lockbaum, but again, Mike Kislick from his center position. This is a lot to ask out of your center. To not only snap the ball, but to get outside and try and get a block on Benefield. He gets enough of Benefield to knock him off Flutie and turns Flutie up. Lockbaum and B.J. Gallus have to wrap him up, or it's another touchdown for Toronto.
Second down, the ball just inside the BC 2-yard line as Lockbaum takes some deep breaths. He's had a busy day, as has the whole Lion defense. Second down and goal. Flutie drops back, is hit hard, gets the ball off the pinball, touchdown Toronto, but Flutie pays the price and is down.
Well, I mean, what more can you ask from the front guys from BC? They're coming, they're putting pressure. That's the second time in this series we've seen Flutie get cranked, this time by Maurice Kelly. Unfortunately, nobody's got the pinball, and he gets a little 5-yard pass and walks in the end zone.
I don't know how Flutie got that pass off. Here it is again.
You see it right now. He takes a snap. He's just going to fake a little play action. Pinball looks like he's going to get it. He kind of crouches down, hides in the line, comes out. Kelly Lockbaum's responsible for him. But by that time, he's in the end zone.
Flutie didn't even have a follow-through on his pass. It barely got the pinball.
I think pinball could have played baseball because I think he'd have a hard time getting that strike zone on that guy.
Mike Vanderjack with the convert. And it's a rout at the Sky Dome. Pinball with 3 touchdowns, and his Argos own a 38-3 lead over the Lions. Back in Toronto, in the hometown Argos have a hearty 38-3 lead over the visiting BC Lions. And this was the scene 1 week ago in Winnipeg when Robert Drummond took a high shovel pass, and then someone rolled up on his knee. That was the injury. This is the scene today. Pinball Clemens, taking most of the workload, has been battered late in this game here in the second half. Here's the shot that Flutie took just moments ago, blindsided from David Benefield. Some people might wonder, Chris, if the star players need still be in the game with the score seemingly out of reach.
Well, I think that last week they probably didn't think that. Maybe this week they still don't, but when you lose a guy of the caliber of Robert Drummond, and now you have an opportunity to maybe lose Pinball Clemens or Doug Flutie, I think with this kind of lead, you should start thinking about resting them because they've done their work.
That speaks to Don Matthews wanting his players to have some aggressive tendencies in the second half to go for the throat and to not ease up, and that's what the Argos did last week against Winnipeg, scoring just 2 points. Here's Clemens.
Little touchdown. What I like about this is Pinball Clemens. He squats down to about 3 foot nothing, just hides in that big, massive oak of the offensive line, sneaks through and gets a little dink pass. And one of the things is Maurice Kelly unloads, and I mean, gets his helmet underneath the shoulder and drives him into the turf.
Flutie has been taking a licking on that last series, and he didn't even get that pass away. I mean, it's amazing he got that as far as he did.
Let's talk about today. He's been taking a licking. Last week against Winnipeg, 4 sacks against Doug Flutie, which is unheard of, and took a licking there. And I remember one play in particular, Robert Davis drove Flutie on a fake bootleg on the goal line into the field with his helmet. So these are things that are going to affect this team, and this is maybe why Don Matthews may have to start thinking about resting some of his star players.
That's Brooks Finley, the injured BC Lion from Portland State. But it looks like he might be able to get off the field on his own steam as Bill Reichelt, the Lion trainer, helps him off. Big primetime lineup on CBC television tomorrow night. It all begins at 7 Eastern with Wind at My Back, and then Anne Murray and her intimate evening begins at 8 o'clock. Rick Hansen, a celebration at 9, and then at 10 o'clock the evening is rounded out with another of the well done Life and Time. As Brooks Finley makes his way to the sidelines, earlier we saw Pinball on the phone, on the headset to John Jenkins up in the Argos spotters box. They're still talking strategy, the Argos are.
I think he's just trying to get another house to put all these footballs he's given his mother.
Jenkins looking even a tad bored.
Well, they haven't really had much of a challenge the last couple of weeks, and they got some major games coming up yet.
Damon Allen goes deep, and he's got Action Jackson at the 50-yard line. One of the first times in this football game we've seen the Lions stretch the Toronto defense as Johnny Harris comes in to make the tackle.
And this is something you want to do. Damon just takes a straight drop, looks, he's looking for Jackson all the way. Jackson just coming back inside to your screen, trying to run into the traffic, get some blockers downfield. Gets a nice first down. This is something they should have been doing more often earlier.
Jackson, the second leading pass receiver in the CFL, playing most of the season with a sore knee, an injured knee. Allen looking effective on this drive, finds Mazzoli, he breaks the tackle and gets another BC first down.
And he's tried to go to Nick Mazzoli earlier, 3 or 4 times. They have not connected. That's the first time they've actually made the connection.
That's amazing. Second first down for the Lions since their first drive of the game.
And what Damon's doing right now is he's running the hurry-up offense. He's not going to allow Toronto to get their calls in right now.
Mazzoli, who was a car salesman for the first half of the season.
I'm not laughing about that, but I think paycheck's a little better in CFL.
Damon Allen, time, across the middle. He's got Mike Trevathan.
Well, I don't know what's happening, and if this hurry-up is the secret, they should always go to hurry-up offense because now they look sharp. This doesn't look like the team we've seen for the past 3 quarters.
Well, it's never over in the CFL till it's over, as Yogi Berra once said, but...
Is that Yogi Berra or Yogi Berra?
Damon Allen looks more like the Damon Allen we've seen earlier this season. Effective with 3 back-to-back first downs to match their entire first down output of the first half. But that time, Donald Smith makes the read and picks off Allen. He's the only man back, forces Smith back into the middle of the field. And Don Smith is tackled at the 48 of BC. And so a promising BC drive evaporates with a Donald Smith interception. Back at the Skydome in Toronto, and Chris, it looked like a miscommunication on that last interception.
Well, he was trying to do the same thing, have Jackson come back inside. Jackson's running the fly route. Donald Smith just sits, reads, the ball's coming right to him. It's a foot race. Damon Allen makes the tackle.
When the quarterback and the receiver aren't on the same page, disaster. Flutie still in the game at quarterback for the Argos. Handoff inside to Mike Clemens, and he's stacked up. First man to make contact was B.J. Gallus, and then a host of BC tacklers finished him off. Mike Clemens needing only 5 receptions to tie the single-game CFL record of 16. Here's Allen. Still, I'm sure, smarting over that pick, but it was too obvious for him to throw it straight into Donald Smith's hands. Obviously, it was a misread. He expected, as you said, Jackson to come inside. Jackson went outside, and Donald Smith made the read. Second down, 9 for the Argos. Flutie, big pass rush, gets away from Johnny Scott, but not that time. Scott jumped all over him from behind.
We talked about keeping these guys in the game. Pinball, the first play, 10 guys hoard all over him and knock him around. This time he'll lose great pressure from BC's front 4. Johnny Scott comes back from being flushed out, jumps all over, ropes him down to the ground. He should be in the rodeo with that kind of tackle.
When do you pull Doug Flutie out of the game? I mean, he's taking a lot of licks out there,
And
Chris.
especially the last couple drives. Watch Benefield right now. He just runs around Willie Williams. I don't know. Willie Williams looks a little tired on that play right there. But that's what you want to do as a defensive end. Force Flutie to come back up.
Argos in a rare punting situation. Vanderjack at his own 47-yard line. Drills a high spiral to the Coffin corner. Larry Thompson can't catch it inbounds, and it will be spotted at about the 15-yard line of the Lions. 33-yard punt by Vanderjack. Andre Ware, the other Heisman Trophy winner, still with the headset on, still with the clipboard.
Exactly, and not warming up at all, wondering, kind of flipping dice in his hands, thinking, what am I going to get a chance to go in there and run this offense? I think with a guy like him, you got to start using him. There's Caravana on BC, the backup quarterback for BC, but I can almost assuredly assure you that, without a word, that he will not be in the game yet. They're going to try and make some things happen with Damon Allen still.
Caravana, one of 7 Simon Fraser products in the Lion lineup. Here comes Allen. Blitz is on. Demetrius Maxey is there for the sack.
Well, this is a nice play by Demetrius Maxey, but I'm not sure what Todd Furtick is thinking on this play. He gets bull rushed and tries to almost throw Demetrius Maxey away from him, as if he's anticipating it's a screen or something, and he throws him right into Damon Allen. As an offensive lineman, you've got to give him more protection than that, especially if that deep in your own zone.
And so the loss is huge. The Lions now scrimmaging at about their own 7-yard line. Allen drops back into his own end zone. Comes out, trips over one of his own players. But, well, looks like Todd Furtick.
He tripped on Todd Furtick. I think Todd's kind of wondering what else could go wrong here. I mean, Damon tries to make a cut upstairs, tries to get around him, catches his foot in the back of Todd Furtick's heels, and they got a punt again.
Will they punt or will they concede and keep the ball?
Well, that's a good question, but I don't know. At this point in time, you're down by 35 points. I think you got to kind of just keep plugging away. I don't think you want to give any freebies.
Caravana gets it out. Bounces across the 45, 46-yard line and out of bounds, where the Argos will take over on offense. A 39-yard punt from Caravana. It's Molson Hockey Night in Canada. Tonight, the doubleheader beginning with the Leafs and the Islanders at 7 Eastern from the island. And then from Tokyo, Japan, game 2 of our doubleheader, the Canucks and the Mighty Ducks. Trevor Linden, who gave up the seed. So Mark Messier will lead the Canucks minus Messier, who has injured his leg in the second period of last night's game, won by the Canucks 3-2. First down, Argos. Masadi back in the game. And another catch by Masadi in traffic.
And this is when you know, as a receiver, that you and the quarterback are in sync. Doug Flutie gets pressure again. He throws off his back foot, throws to a certain area. There's Masadi reading the coverage, again zone, just sits in a hole, makes the catch.
So Masadi, another Argos starter who has been banged up in this game, back in the lineup. It makes a tough catch. First down, Toronto. BC 35, Flutie with the hitch pass. Jack Jackson is open, gets a block from Kerwin, and then is drilled from behind by Maurice Kelly and Leonard Humphrey.
And Toronto, if Don Matthews told them to go for the throat, they're definitely doing that. They're still running all their plays. They're still running the hitch passes, the quick dumps. They're not becoming conservative by any means. You can see Jack Jackson sitting under there. Andre Kerwin gets a nice block on Rasheed Gale. Does a nice job of giving him some room to run.
The Don Matthews offense continues to be aggressive, up 38-3 with 37 seconds and time counting here in the third quarter. Big rush on Flutie. Gets it away across the middle to Mike Clemens. Barely a game, maybe back to the line of scrimmage.
And I'm kind of confused a little bit by why BC's doing it. Right now, they bring pressure, they run man coverage, they limit the game. Then there's other times they bring pressure, they fold back into a zone coverage, and they let Flutie complete these little 8 or 9 yard passes.
Greg Frères with good coverage on the play. Argos second down and 10, Toronto. At the 25-yard line of the Lions. Argos get to be penalized in this football game. The Lions with 6 penalties, 43 yards. Fake on the shovel. Flutie rolls. Kerwin's open, but the ball's too high.
And you can see, again, miscommunication. Humphreys, Rasheed Gale, one of them sat on Jack Jackson. The other wasn't sure to go. Andre Kerwin had the pass being on. Another completion.
Pinball Clemens pulling into the pit for an equipment change. Looks like he's burned off the soles of those other shoes.
He blew a rubber, I tell you what.
There's Mike's mom and daughter Rachel. Doug Flutie's wife in front. The first families of the Argos in attendance here today, enjoying another display as we check the third quarter stats. And see, the Lions aren't much better in the first down department. And look at the net yards. It's 4-1.
Well, they doubled their first downs from 3 to 6, but Toronto 28 first downs, 16 yards passing, and 28 minutes time of possession through 3 quarters.
Argos with the ball for a half hour and still a quarter to go. Second down. Flutie gets it away to Andre Kerwin, and he is sandwiched on the sideline. Humphreys and Gale, and there are words. Kerwin, born in Winnipeg, raised in the U.S., considered a Canadian, has a degree in biology and says he hopes to one day follow in his father's footsteps and become a doctor.
Well, he is studying medicine right now at Stanford. He had his big game last week. He had 3 catches against Winnipeg for 59 yards. And they haven't gone to him a lot, but when they do, he has been very productive.
Third down. A little more than 3 yards to go, and so the Argos will tee it up. Field goal attempt for Mike Vanderjack from about the 26-yard line. Flutie to hold. Vanderjack shanks this one, hooks it left and falls to the turf. Can't believe it. The tip shot for him is wide for a single, and the Argos build a 39-3 lead. Single point Argos. One of the few mistakes we've seen in this football game on the Argos sideline.
And if you're BC, you kind of like to have something like that happen. One thing in your way anyway.
Here's what's coming up tomorrow on CBC Sports. The Amico Cup from Spruce Meadows, Alberta. That's in addition to the Battle of Alberta, which will follow at 3 Eastern. It's the Stampeders and the Eskimos. Willie Pless and the Eskies in the rubber match. They both won 1 in this season, and so this one with huge implications because the Lions, the Eskimos, and the Stamps all deadlocked in first place in the West at 8-6.
And they're playing on that great grass field of Edmonton right now. And I'm sure they've lost Edmonton's last 3 in a row. They're looking to rebound right now, and they want to feed on the Stampeders of Calgary.
Don Matthews' team has been prolific in this football game.
Oh, here's an update. That field goal attempt hit the goalpost, so the play was dead.
So the score is 38-3 Toronto.
And they're trying to do something. They're trying to do a fake shovel to Millington and hopefully roll out Damon Allen. I say hopefully because it wasn't bitten on at all by Toronto's defense. They kind of just collared him in. He tried to run a little bit to the left and picks up about 3 or 4 yards.
Sorry, Chris. Adam Rita says that Damon Allen's best protection is to run, to get outside, buy himself some time, and then throw the football. Well, and he's been making wise decisions this year as a quarterback.
Second and long. Allen is nearly picked off.
Diving effort by Johnny Harris.
And it'll be a punting situation again. Mike Vanderjack.
Here's the missed field goal right here. You can see Vanderjack, and it just catches the outside.
Hard to see that, but I guess it nicked the pole.
Enough to rob Vanderjack of a single. Caravada's punt, a high, skyrocketing spiral that drives Clemens back to his own 30. Clemens, he evades one tackle and manages to get close to the 40-yard line with Andre Ware warming up from the Argo bench. Harry Van Hofwagen, the tackle. Well, when Doug Flutie puts on the baseball cap, that's usually an indication he's done for the day, and so he'll take a knee after a prolific afternoon, 323-yard passing and 3 touchdowns, and turn the ball over to the other Heisman Trophy winner. Andre Ware is in the game, and Doug enjoying the sunshine and chance now to stand back and watch his understudy. Where the Argos the only team in pro football with 2 Heisman Trophy winners in the same lineup. Andre Ware only throwing 20 passes so far this season, 1 for a touchdown.
But winning the Heisman with the offensive coordinator, Johnny Jenkins. Johnny Jenkins at Houston, where he had 26
passing records in the NCAA. Ware reverses field, finds Pinball wide open on the hitch pass. Pinball with a hitch there and a hitch here, and he's got a first down for Toronto. Damian Lyons finally gets him out of bounds. Great block by Dwayne Demetrition on the play.
Well, when things are working, they're working. I mean, he just does a little fake pivot, turns around, throws a little rifle pass right to Pinball, and lets Pinball do the work. He's got offensive linemen out in front of him. Champagne gets a good block. Kisslick's out there making blocks. People are working. Dwayne Demetrition downfield. Everybody in this team is still working in the 4th quarter, even with this big lead.
So the Argonaut juggernaut continues to steam full speed ahead in the 4th quarter. Pass in traffic intended for Jackson, and it's knocked down. Looked like Maurice Kelly got a hand on it.
Well, nice job of coverage, Maurice Kelly, as you said. Like a glove on him this time. Doesn't allow Jackson to get to the outside. Take a look at the pass protection here by the center. Well, hands a little bit out. Harry Van Hofwagen's trying to bull rush. The technique just to try and knock him back. Mike Kisslick stands his ground. Gives Doug the time he needs to throw the ball.
Mike Clemens now 2 receptions away from the single-game CFL record of 16. Here's Ware looking deep. Darrell Mitchell was wide open, but the ball was overthrown.
And this has happened more than once, and it's been overthrown more than once. But you look at Greg Frères, you look at Maurice Kelly or Rashid Gale, they're all talking. Humphreys, why is somebody springing up the middle wide open there? Somebody is obviously thinking somebody is picking him up after he gets to a certain area. They should get on the sidelines. They're lucky they didn't get scored on. Get the board out and make sure they correct this problem.
Vanderjack's longest field goal attempt, or rather punt, 53 yards, and he'll stand just inside his 50-yard line. Punt sends Larry Thompson back towards his goal line. Bounces back inbounds just inside the end zone, and Thompson will concede on the play. On Andre Ware on the phone to his former coach at Houston, John Jenkins, the offensive coordinator for the Argos. There's Jenkins picking up the phone now.
Well, they set all those records at the University of Houston, you know, and he was known at that time for the run and shoot, and some people like to say that what Toronto's running now is a form of the run and shoot, but the run and shoot's more of a sliding blocking scheme, and Toronto likes to keep Doug in the pocket and then allow him to roll out on his own, do a little bootleg, so it's not really a run and shoot offense.
Robert Drummond enjoying the sidelines today. I don't know if he can really enjoy it. I know he's having a hard time being away from the game with the knee recuperating.
He's probably thinking with this kind of score, he could have piled up some yardage today and went after that receiving record of 1,000 yards and 1,000 rushes.
Allen intended for Alfred Jackson, and it's incomplete.
And what you see now is frustration by the receivers and the quarterback. I mean, they're not jogging back to the huddle. They're walking. It's almost they're looking at the clock. 11 minutes. They're wishing it said 1:31 rather than 11:31. They want to get out of here.
Pretty scary, Chris, to think that without Robert Drummond, the Argos are as dominant as they are.
And you can see Damon Allen here. He's just not happy with himself. He's just, it's not his day, and he's going to have to shake it off because he's got another game next week.
Allen deep down the field. Mike Trevathan goes up for it, but Lester Smith breaks it up. Great diving effort.
We talked about team speed. There's an example of it. Mike Trevathan open early. Lester Smith, the safety, sees it, closes on the ball, makes a nice job of adjustments and getting his hand in there and not allowing Mike Trevathan, who's very sure-handed, to come down with that catch. Excellent reaction to a ball once it's in the air.
Lester, one of the three Smiths, along with Adrian and Donald, they call the Bermuda Triangle here in Toronto. Mike Pinball Clemens takes it at his own 31, reverses field, and is brought down just shy of the Toronto 40-yard line. A 44-yard punt and an 8-yard return. And the Argos lead big. Welcome back to the CFL on CBC. Mark Lee along with Chris Walby and Jeff Fairholm, our spotter here today, who still holds the mark, the last opponent to have a 200-yard plus game in receiving against the Argos. And you have to go right back to 1993 when he was a Saskatchewan Rough Rider.
Well, I remember Jeff Fairholm having many games against us in Winnipeg. We went out there in the Labor Day games against Regina and breaking our backs time after time. So he's done it to a lot of people.
And I know Jeff is enjoying being part of our coverage, getting close to the game again, pointing out the tacklers for me here this afternoon. One of the tougher receivers in the game. Andre Ware drops the snap and then falls on it immediately. And so the Argo offense is going the wrong way on this series. And it'll be 3rd and more than 20.
Just a situation where Andre Ware is trying to move before he gets the ball. He's looking to go in a certain spot. Drops the ball. You got to wait till you get it before you move. A lot of times that's just the fact that you haven't played a lot. You can see him right now. He just mishandles a snap. Very fortunate to get back on it. But that's why you got to play him. I think your backup quarterback in this situation needs to see as much time as possible in the event we don't want it to happen, that your starting quarterback somehow gets injured.
That's why Ware is in the game to get some playing time. A shank punt from Vanderjagt bounces all the way to the 21-yard line where Trevathan picks it up, spelling off Larry Thompson on punt return duty.
And another aspect of Toronto we don't really talk about. We talk about their offense. We talk about their defense. But their special teams have been phenomenal.
Well, look
their
at the
coverage
field
team
position here. A 59-yard punt and a 3-yard return.
They are so coached, so well, so disciplined. Look at them in their lanes. They're all in their lanes. They're not overlapping. They're not following. You never follow your own colored jersey. And with this lead, you think they might lax up. They're still concentrating enough to make the proper plays at the proper time.
Big Mike O'Shea, who's been taking a beating in the trenches all game, is the first man down.
And he's leading the team in special teams tackles. He's the Millington of Toronto.
Damon Allen, pressure.
Wow.
KC blitz from the outside, or rather it's the linebacker, 38, Reggie Gibbons.
Reggie Gibbons runs a stunt. They're playing games now. Anytime you have a lead on a team, it's fun. Let's do some different things in there. Let's have some fun with the offensive line. You can see right here, Demetrius Max is coming in. He's going to come around right outside. Nobody picks him up. Sack. This is what happens when you're winning. You can have fun. You can experiment because you're not worried about getting a play against you with this kind of lead.
So Gibbons hammers Damon Allen
For his 5th sack of the season.
Lions scrimmaging from their 15-yard line. Allen rolls left, pressure from Maxey, and Damon Allen, as elusive as he is forced out of bounds for another loss.
Well, if you are going to run a bootleg or you're trying to get to the short side of the field, your tackle must hook that defensive end. Demetrius Maxey does not let Todd Furtick get to his inside. He just beats him to the outside. That play is dead before it even starts.
Allen has no chance to turn his shoulders upfield to make the pass. Demetrius Maxey.
Well, fine game on defense for the Argos.
And now Caravata, with a good 45.7-yard average,
will need a huge punt here as he stands inside his own goal line.
It's short. Clemens inside the 50, falls, reverses field, is still going.
And finally, gang tackled at about the 48-yard line. It's Van Hofwegen
and Frank Timmerster, as Adam Rita laments this one. Welcome back. Well, here's an internet address you should put on your bookmark.
CFL on CBC. Chat line open at 9 Eastern on Tuesday evening, and Chris Walby will be
answering all your questions and inquiries about the CFL. What's it, Chris?
You ask me the question, I'll give you the answer.
Andre Ware is sacked as the blitz
mows over the Argo offensive line. It's Robertson and Gallus taking Ware down on that play.
Well, there's a miscommunication here. It's just like they're 10 yards down the field looking at what's going on. Dan Payne's waving, hey, somebody's supposed to be over with us. I'm sure that was supposed to be a screen or a hit.
Jim Barker, the offensive
see right now they're blocking and receiving. They're knocking him out of the way. They're letting him go. He's got to get rid of the ball. That's just inexperience right there on Andre Ware's part.
Well, credit the BC Lion defense. They have not given up. They keep coming hard. They've played most of this game.
And here they come again.
Andre Ware, rush, deep, too far. Once again for Darryl Mitchell. Leonard Humphreys,
the closest man to that.
And you know what? You talk about the importance of Robert Drummond. Robert Drummond leaves today, can't play because of an injury. This team doesn't skip a beat. Now you talk about the importance of Doug Flutie. Doug Flutie misses or comes out in the fourth quarter, and this team offensively looks very ordinary.
Robert Drummond trying to stay in game form. Can't run, but he'll work on the ball. Doug Flutie.
And head coach Don Matthews now offering some advice to Andre Ware.
Well, I mean, if you're going to learn from the best.
Rasheed Gale is back, the lone Lion back,
to receive Mike Vanderjack's punt. Vanderjack, another skyscraper.
Gale back to his own end zone, dropped it in the end zone,
reverses field, is trying to get out.
Wiltshire with pursuit, but Gale turns on the burners and is dragged down at the 15, but runs about 70 yards to get that far.
And Eric Johnson with the tackle. They talked about him at the press conference. He looked a little shook up, but he's got great speed. He's a backup linebacker, but he's excellent on special teams.
Kelly Wiltshire, who you'll recall a few weeks ago had a neck injury that concerned a lot.
You look at Rashad catching the ball here. He mishandles it. Now he's out of bounds right there. Right there. That should be dead. That ball's dead.
Like Johnny Harris looked back at the official on that play.
Shows good speed to get out of the end zone, but
good to see Kelly Wiltshire back in form after that neck injury he had a few weeks back.
Always scary when you get hit that part.
Don Matthews telling us an hour after he got out of the hospital,
he was signing autographs at a team function.
Well, Demetrius Maxey working a muscle cramp out right now. They haven't been on the field all that much, but when they have, they've surely been effective.
Noah Cantor in the game for Maxey on defense.
Damon Allen once again, nowhere to go. What a frustrating afternoon for him. The Lions are only 2 for 15 on second down conversion.
Speaking of frustrated, Corey Philpott is not in the lineup. We understand he's not injured. They're going with a 5-pack of receivers. But I have to question, I know it's not my position too. Here's a guy that caught 10 passes last week for 73 yards in 1995, had scored 22 touchdowns, which is a CFL record, and he's not good enough to be in your lineup?
There's Jim Sandusky looking none too pleased about the way things have gone for the Lion offense this afternoon. Damon Allen, second down and 13. Backpedals at his 5 pumps and is going deep. Trevathan is wide open. Has to wait for the ball, though. And is caught from behind by Adrian Smith all the way from his cornerback position.
Well, this is a nice play. They tried to do it earlier. Lester Smith closed on the ball really well the first time and didn't allow Mike Trevathan to make this catch. This time he's nowhere to be around. Adrian Smith is the closest to the ball. You can see Lester coming. He didn't close that time. You can see him close, and he's a far way off this time. And I believe he was covering Shaw, Trevor Shaw, at that point.
35-yard gain for Trevathan. First down. Lions. Big pass to Big Sean Millington. Puts his head down and will be close to another first down. You could hear the leather popping up here in the booth on that hit. And even Millington is a bit weary.
Well, I tell you, one of the things you got to look at, John Raposo, rookie nominee for Toronto last year, does a great job. Here's Millington running over. He's going to run over Donald Smith. Donald Smith does a great job. Go low, take the knees out.
I saw Donald Smith take Lee Knight's knees out in a game here a few weeks ago. Put Knight right out of the game, or out of the season, actually, with a knee injury. This guy can hit.
Well, he can not only hit, he can draw. When he was with Winnipeg, he did a bunch of caricatures, and he has an art opening in Mississauga November 22nd, for all of you who might want to be interested in seeing some of Donald Smith's artwork.
He's showing me some of his paintings. They have to do with his personal life. He's drawn paintings as Damon Allen sneaks for the first down on second and short. And you know, when I watch you work that telestrator, I think of Donald Smith, the artist. You are.
I have a little Van Gogh in me. I have an ear, but I have a little Van Gogh.
And with those big meat hooks, too, I'm amazed at how dexterous you are. Give us a little...
Well, what would you like me to draw there? You know, this is what happens when you get these kind of games. Sometimes it just gets sad.
Beautiful.
But, you know...
Let's get back to business. Allen looking deep. Jackson goes up for it, but Adrian Smith times the jump to break it up.
Well, not only are these defensive backs of Toronto called, we talked about that yesterday, that a quarterback has to drop the ball in, but the ball hangs in the air, and one of the things that can get away, you can see Jackson does a nice fake the post, takes it back to the corner. He turns Adrian Smith's hip. That's what you want to do. But again, we talked about the closing speed. Does a great job of coming back to the ball, not interfering with the receiver, but getting his hand in the way to deflect the ball and not allow the catch.
But Jackson was open. The ball was late.
Yes. It has been late. It's like the post office sometimes.
Now. Second and long. Blitz. Allen elusive on that play. Dodging his way for a gain of maybe 8. And close to a first down before Andrew Stewart and Mike O'Shea bring him down.
Well, this is something that Damon Allen has to do more often. If you're going to bring pressure from the outside, if you can get the offensive line to block your defenders to the outside, take a look up there.
Andrew Stewart, who is a firm believer that defenses are built from the inside out. That if you can jam up that center where he plays at nose tackle.
Well, Andrew Stewart is a guy that plays on a team full of stars. Here's a guy who's got 7 sacks, leads the team in sacks, got 17 tackles. Last week, he had three tackles and a sack against Winnipeg. You don't hear a lot about Andrew Stewart. You should, because he is an excellent interior lineman.
Down there and gets his nose dirty in the trenches. Third and short as John Millington goes right at Stewart. And this will be close.
Well, Andrew Stewart does just a great job here again. One of the worst things the offensive lineman can do is keep his head down. He does a nice job on it, Chris.
In the game. Well, Andrew Stewart and the Argo defense good call there. This third down and yard play by the Lions stopped. They did not make it. And so the Lions turned the ball over on down.
They are a totally disenchanted group, as evidenced right here. This is not a happy camper right here. Here's somebody that should be in your lineup. He's not. For whatever reason, we don't know.
Andre Ware going deep again for Darryl Mitchell. He's open. What a defensive effort by number 14, Rasheed Gale.
Well, we've talked about Toronto's defensive backs closing to the ball. There's a prime example of it on the other side of the ball. Rasheed Gale does a great job of coming back, closing, and knocking the ball away from Darryl Mitchell.
Well, Darryl Mitchell, one of the few weapons in this Argo offense that is not.
And you can see right there, one of the nicest things about it, not only does it close, but what a great timing of a vertical leap. Comes up, and had it not been for his own teammate, Greg says he did have good coverage on that play, would have probably intercepted the ball.
Looked like he was trying to turn prayers into a stepladder.
Second down, Andre Ware, handoff.
Mike Clemens somehow gets through about 5 tacklers for a gain of
close to 8. You know, Doug Fluty's out of the game. Pinball is still in the game. He's still got that smile. He's a happy camper. All the stuff he does. And he walks like he just come out for a warm-up. You wouldn't even think he'd been hit.
Look at that. He's limping as he comes off the field. One catch short of tying the single-game record of 16 receptions in a game. And 2:22 to go. As the Argos turn the ball over, will they get the ball to the pinball one more time?
I'd be a bet man. I'd say yes.
Walby going out on an awfully big limb on that one.
Yes, I'm stretching it there somewhat.
Thompson bobbles that punt. He's in the end zone and just gets out to the 5.
Well, that particular time, I think when you're bobbling the ball and you're in the end zone, go down on the knee, give your offense some field position. But I guess at this point in time, they're just trying to make it work.
It looks to kill. Here's another look from the reverse angle.
You can just see he just kind of get the ball. He's trying to get it, and sometimes he tries too hard and things just go the opposite way.
Charles Anthony with a chance to cream Larry Thompson on that play. Thompson managing to get out of the end zone to the 5. And Damon Allen is out of the game. And disconsolate on the BC sideline. Caravetta, the backup, is in. Attempted only 3 passes this season. He's in his own end zone. Will roll out and head to the first down marker and is drilled by Reggie Gibbons.
Well, I know he's only thrown 3 passes, completing 2. But if you're going to run, I know he's a big guy. You might want to head to that sideline and not give these guys like Reggie Gibbons a shot to crank you like this. He does a nice job of first seeing that there is nobody open and tries to run for it. Reggie gets a nice pop on him. We can hear it all the way up here in the booth. And welcome to the game, Mr. Caravetta.
And that has to be tough for a quarterback to drop back on your first play in your own end zone. You had the happy feet going and made it out. Caravetta from the pocket. Where's that going? Right into the hands of Lester Smith. Picked off and Smith. Heels around the 15 to 10. Gets a block. Touchdown, Toronto.
Well,
Johnny Harris piling on.
Well, they might want to throw a flag into the first flag they get. You can see Damon Allen, he's not happy. No emotion one way or the other. He's not happy with the way things have turned out for himself and his teammates today. And obviously that's just reflected by Caravetta throwing a pass, I'm not sure really where. It looked like it was actually going for Lester Smith, and 7 more points, or 6 more for the Boatmen.
Reggie Gibbons, watch.
This guy is on the play with Lester Smith, made a tremendous block.
6th interception of the year for Lester Smith. He's taken 2 of them back for touchdowns, and on that one,
34 yards to the end zone. And you're right about Reggie Gibbons, what he did after that play. They make a bingo call. He goes downfield, does a great job of blocking Chuck Bradley, who realistically is the last guy that can make the tackle. Let's get another look at it.
Caravetta, time, some pressure. pressure from Waldrop, and he coughs it up.
And I think he was going for Trevathan, just overthrow it. You know, he hasn't played a whole lot. In the corner of your screen, you can't really see it, but the guy that gives him the opening, Reggie Gibbons, does a great job of blocking and keeps Chuck Bradley from making the play.
Look at Don Matthews. Is he happy? He wants this team to be aggressive right to the final gun, no matter what the score is. And that's exactly what the Argos have done today.
Well, they certainly have been complacent today. They have gone after it. They're going for the throat. They're like a pit bull that hasn't eaten for a week. They're going for the throat, baby.
Julio Caravetta is going back in, having some words with Adam Rita.
And he just pointed to himself, and he's saying to Adam, it was my bag, my mistake, I overthrew the ball.
Well, 1:34 to go in the game, and so the Argos will kick off with Mike Clemens still one catch from that record. Will the Argos get the ball back? Larry Thompson at his own 20, negotiates through center field, and is brought down between the hash marks just across the 35-yard line by Norm Kosovo. Tough day for Damon Allen. He's having a great season, but look at the numbers. 154 yards passing, 1 interception, and no touchdowns. And really very few first downs.
And I got to say that the second quarter killed these BC Lions. When as an offense you don't get any first downs and no yards passing in 15 minutes in one quarter, you know you're in the hurt bag. And they've just been struggling. They just don't seem to be in sync with anything. They have great talent on this team, but...
Well, 1 week ago they throw 3 touchdown passes in the final 5 minutes to beat Hamilton, one of the best defenses in the league. And then this. Well, it's been typical of the roller coaster.
And look at this. I mean, look at Millington's face. Right now, that's a look at dejection. They got backup people in playing for Toronto right now. We just talked about John Raposo. He comes in there, makes the play, just tackles in the backfield.
The rodeo hog tie move by Raposo. The loss of 1. 2nd and 11. Caravata in the shotgun. Downfield. It's hit. And hit. Oh, my goodness. Dropped as Brendan Rodgers went to make the interception and was screened by Lester Smith.
And you know what, Brendan, now let's talk about Brendan Rodgers here. Came back from a serious neck injury.
Yes, he had the vertebrae.
And I tell you what, he was extending for that football, and Lester Smith, no fault of his own, was trying to make the catch himself, and just KO'd him. Let's take a look. He's looking up, and here it comes now. Right now,
Goodness me, he couldn't hold on to it. He had the interception.
well, I think he's just happy that his head is still on his shoulders. Not worrying about catching the ball there. He's all right, though. Oh, he's a tough. His old nickname, Barney Rubble, from the Flintstones. Look at that mug. Huh?
You'll be glad you said that.
That's a Stone Age mug right there. That's football. This is a football face right here. You gotta love that.
Brendan Rodgers is another Van Gogh. Here's the pinball. Reverses field. 4 yards, 55 on the return.
Well, let's talk odds. 1 minute and 1 left. What's the first play, Mark?
First play is a little hit pass or a little flat pass to the pinball.
Get him the record.
16, tying the record. There's Andre Ware having words with Don Matthews. Get the ball to pinball, he's saying. Ware licks his fingers and heads out with 1 minute and 1 to go. Clemens is leading the game. Clemens is leading the game, 1 catch short of the record.
I don't know if they know about the record. That might be.
Perhaps the Argos don't know.
I don't think they did. I think Don Matthews would love for him to get this record, and I think that had he known he was so close, would keep him in.
Perhaps someone should get word to the Argo bench, because after the fine effort of pinball today, it would be a shame he would not get the record. Pat DeBerg filling in for the pinball, looking very much like the pinball on that one.
Wow, I mean, I'm pretty impressed. This kid doesn't touch the ball. He's only 5'7", 175 pounds.
Sorry you couldn't make it to the stadium today. I'd like to say hi to my mom from Florida that is in the stands. You can't see this, but maybe we'll take it for you.
Mike saying hello to his mom, the model son. There she is with Mike's daughter, Rachel. Mike mentioned that his wife unable to make the game today. Here's the book again, a flag on the play as he gets close to first down territory with 31 seconds to go in the game.
Well, I think Chad Polk did a little rope tie on Johnny Scott, who, to his credit, has not quit yet. They still coming, the defensive line of BC, that is. Chad Polk gives him a little collar. The only thing missing from that is the rope. If you rope his ankle.
All right, let's go down to Steve Armitage on the Argo sideline.
Mark, we just passed that information on to Doug Flutie and the Argos about pinball on the record. They acknowledge the fact that they know all about it, but pinball is staying on the sidelines as Doug goes over to sign a couple of sweaters. He should not be concerned about pinball on his record.
All right, thank you, Steve. And so the Argos, who have the lion's share of offensive statistics in this league, will leave the pinball one short of the single-game reception record in the CFL.
Wow. Well, we just talked about this man, Johnny Scott. I'm here to play 60 minutes, people. Do not take a play off, or I'll make you pay for it. He just did that again. And stuff. Good news.
Got another listen and a look at that shot from Johnny Scott.
Now, this is 2 plays in a row. Welcome to the CFL. Chad Polk, who gets an opportunity to play today because of the lead. 2 plays in a row. Big Johnny Scott had his way with them.
Johnny Scott, who was seizing in the first half for a holding call that extended a Argo drive and led to a touchdown. Still playing with that same fury as Rashid Gale goes back, the lone man back for the Lions to receive this punt from Mike Vanderjack as he lets the clock tick down. 10 seconds. Gale, as time runs out.
Well, Mark, I just want to say one thing. I haven't had an opportunity to do this all day. My dad back at the lake right now, 73 years young today. I just want to wish him a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Dad. Love you. Talk to you soon.
All right. Well done. Another model son. You and pinball.
Well, pinball sort of rubbed off on me there, and I figured it was my duty.
There you see Adam Rita, who coached Flutie, Clemens, and company last year as offensive coordinator, and awfully well-liked, as you can see from here. The hug as his team is beaten badly, 46-3 today by the Argos. Let's go down to Steve.
Thank you very much, Mark. Almost a flawless game for the Argos offense today, Doug.
We moved the ball extremely well. Felt great, very comfortable. You know, we were a little concerned about missing Drum, but Pinball has to double up on the duties, and he did a great job today. And the only thing I look at is I get frustrated about the interceptions. You know, with different people in different positions, sometimes you have miscommunication.
In the past, you've been worried about complacency in the second half. Not so today.
No, not at all. We came out smoking today, and we played well in the second half. The last couple of years, towards the end of the season, well, we have Montreal right on our back. So we have to be playing with little aggression and sense of urgency. And we are playing very well right now.
Took a pretty good hit today from Benefield.
Took a couple of good hits. And I don't think Daryl Mitchell realized it was blitz coverage and took a little time, made an extra move. He blew the guy away, but I wound up holding on the ball a little bit. And again, we had Pinball in a situation where he was playing drum spot, and he had to pick up pass protection. I got hit on the throw, but he bailed me out by catching it and scoring a touchdown.
Congratulations on a big win. Doug Flutie and the Argos all over the BC Lions. The final count, 46-3. That's Guido.
Back at the Sky Dome, the Argos win convincingly with their 8th of the year, 8th straight. Here's Steve Armitage.
Mark, there's a sign on the wall here at Sky Dome that says 31 ways the pinball wins, and you showed him 31 today, I'll tell you that.
Well, I tell you, you're obviously a total win, team effort. Our defense, you know, is the nucleus of this team. We score so many points and do so well, but people don't focus on our defense, and they do such a great job of getting us the ball back and not let the other team score.
You showed us some great pinball explosiveness on that big run up the middle for CD.
Well, you know, that was all the line. You know, all I had to do was make one cut. You know, they made it easy for me. They've been doing that all year with Robert Drummond, and I got a little taste of it today.
You didn't miss the big guy today.
We did, yes. At least I did. I'm tired. I need him back, and I need him back soon. But it was certainly good to move the ball without it. We needed to do that, and that's going to make us even better when he comes back.
It was a great day to have your two moms here.
No doubt about it. My mom up from Florida and my new adopted Canadian mom. Actually, I got two good adopted Canadian moms. The other one's probably watching. Hi, Mom. So how you doing?
Pinball Club and certainly one of the stars for the Argos in a very, very impressive win over the BC Lions here at Skydome. Mark?
Thank you, Steve. The always gracious Mike Pinball Clemens, 301 all-purpose yards, 3 touchdowns. Really carried the load for both he and Robert Drummond.
Wow. I mean, that's the operative word here. I mean, the guy returns punts, catches passes, runs the ball. He does everything and more that a team could ask, and he's such a humble guy. The first thing you want to talk about is how he misses Robert Drummond. And yet he does what he does, and I mean, they've got such a case. Who is the MVP? I mean, you got Doug Flutie, 33 completions and 44 attempts. This team is hot. They're on all cylinders, and if they can keep riding, it's just going to be tough for anybody to beat them.
And Clemens is on pace to break his own CFL record for all-purpose yards the year he was the league's MVP. And now the loss for BC sets up an interesting situation tomorrow in Edmonton, where the Eskimos will play the Calgary Stampeders. All three teams are deadlocked at first place at 8-6. Now it'll either be Calgary or Edmonton going number 1.
Well, that's been an exciting game. I mean, really. I mean, we got Calgary coming off a big win last week. You got Edmonton who wants to, they've lost 3 in a row. There's a lot of heat on them right now. There are a little questions about Danny Mack, but Danny Mack loves to play on his home grass. So watch the big things from Edmonton tomorrow. And I tell you what, that's going to be a classic. They hate each other. This is one you want to tune into.
It's the rubber match. The Stampeders and the Eskimos have each beaten each other once. This is the third and final meeting of the season as they head down the road to the playoffs here in the CFL. And Mike Pinball Clemens, the man of the hour in Toronto today. The Toronto Argonauts win their 8th game in a row. Again, it's convincing, 46-3 over the BC Lions. The Argos now maintaining an average of more than 40 points a game during this streak. 2 hours from now, we welcome you back to CBC Sports. It's the doubleheader hockey night in Canada, beginning with the Leafs of the Islanders, and right after that, we go to Tokyo, Japan. The Canucks playing the Mighty Ducks in a rematch of last night's opener, 1-3-2 by Vancouver. Tomorrow from Alberta and Spruce Meadows, it's the Amico Cup. Equestrian at its best, and right after that, we stay in Alberta for the Battle of Alberta, the Stampeders and Eskimos for first place in the West. Who will stop the Argos? The Lions fail miserably today on a red day for the Argos.